Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you clicked on this video, chances are you need some organization ideas and motivation, and that is exactly what you will get over 3 hours worth of my most recent organization projects and videos. We are organizing kitchen cabinets, the pantry under the kitchen sink, creating a DIY family command center, organizing in the bathroom as well as my entryway closet and my linen closet, sharing ideas from the Dollar Tree, and so much more. If you've never watched a video on my channel before, I love to share organization ideas as well as decluttering and cleaning motivation. I love to find unique organization solutions for those of you with a smaller home. Our home is 1,100 square feet, which is small for our area and for our family of 4 plus our 3 fur babies. We renovated our kitchen in 2022, so our kitchen space is bigger now, but I still strive to provide ideas for a small kitchen and clever storage solutions. So if you enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel and come back every week for a new video. Thank you for watching. First, we're going to start by creating a command center. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week we are doing some organization projects around my home as we prep for a change in season and back to school, and I'm very excited to share these ideas with you. So the first organization project that I have been brainstorming for a while now, honestly months, we have this blank wall that separates our kitchen and living room, and it's been such a thorn in my side. I've really been wanting to add some interest to this wall and also make sure it's functional as well, since we live in a small home and I like to make sure that we utilize every space to its highest potential. So what I've decided to create here is a family command center. I want it to be a focal point, so I'm going bold and painting an arch, and here I'm just demonstrating how you create that perfect arch. So if you've ever wondered how to do this before, you just use a piece of string and some tape, and it just kind of guides you around and creates the perfect arch. I was so surprised at how easy this was to do. I picked the color Black Panther by Benjamin Moore. It's not a true black, it definitely has a touch of gray to it, but it's dark and the perfect shade for this project. I wanted to tie in the colors of our kitchen so it all looks cohesive, and our kitchen island is a dark gray, almost black, and our chairs are a brown leather, so you'll see how I end up tying those in as well later. Freehand painting this arch was super nerve-wracking. I've heard that one way you could do this is to tape off the arch and then use like an X-Acto knife to kind of cut the tape so that you can just paint it that way. It's a little bit easier, but I did not do that because I just figured I could freehand paint it just fine, and it is pretty good. It's not 100% perfect, but I don't think that it would have been even if I taped it off, and I'm very proud of how this turned out. For the sake of the video, I'm only showing you guys me painting 1 coat of paint on this wall, but it did take 2, and then I even touched up a few spots with a 3rd coat. But overall, it was not bad. This paint dries super fast, so I was able to get the entire wall painted and done in just a couple of hours. I got these acrylic frames off of Amazon. That was the cheapest place I was able to find them, and we're using these to create a family calendar. One thing about me is that I'm convinced that with the right tools I can do just about anything, so I see something and I think I can do that. Instead of buying it, I try to make it myself, and that is the case with this calendar that we're making. This turned out to be one of my favorite Cricut projects I've ever done, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how I made it. Like I said, these frames came from Amazon, and I really like the brass or gold hardware because it ties in really well with our kitchen. Once again, I wanted everything to look cohesive. Now I'm just holding it up against the wall to make sure that it fits and that I like it, and then we'll get started on making the calendar. I created my design in Cricut Design Space, and you can find this exact project in my Design Space profile, which I will have linked down below if you're interested. But I created the calendar off camera, and then I wanted to add another section off to the left of the calendar with each family member and some lines to write down anything we may need under their names. So we're going to put that together quickly. And to do that, I'm just duplicating some of the words that I already had and the lines that I'd already created for my calendar, just to make sure that everything was exactly the same. The materials that you'll need for this project are a large Cricut cutting mat, the vinyl color of your choice, and some transfer tape. After creating my design in Design Space, I placed my vinyl on my Cricut cutting mat. The cutting mats are sticky, so they will hold your material in place while it's being cut. And then once my design has been cut out, I will start to weed out the excess vinyl using my weeding tool. This design did have some really small letters and some small pieces, so I was going really slowly. I know this is sped up so it doesn't look like I'm going super slow, but you definitely want to take it slow and just be careful so you don't accidentally pull up anything that you're not supposed to. Now, you're probably wondering, how do you actually get this design onto your project? And that is where the transfer tape comes in. So you're going to want to cut a piece of transfer tape that fits right over your entire design. And then you will use your Cricut scraper to scrape along the project and make sure that the vinyl is adhering to the transfer tape so that when you lift it up, it all comes off in one piece. Because my design had a lot of intricate details, I had to be very careful when I was pulling up the transfer tape because there were definitely some little tiny pieces that wanted to get left behind. So again, you want to take this really, really slowly and just make sure that you're getting every last little piece of vinyl and nothing is getting left behind. Now I'm just arranging my design onto my frame in the way that I want it, and again using that scraper tool to make sure that the vinyl adheres to the frame and I'm able to lift up the transfer tape and all of the vinyl stays where it belongs. Something really helpful about the transfer tape is that it does have a grid on it, so when you're placing your design down, you can make sure that everything is level. This acrylic frame has 2 layers, so you would typically put your picture right in the middle of it, and I decided to put my vinyl right in the middle so that when I use this as a calendar and I'm writing on it, I don't accidentally damage my design and end up ruining it over time. Here is a quick tip if you're ever trying to hang up something like this. I'm sure you've heard of this, but if you haven't, the easiest way is to put some toothpaste on the back and then press it up against the wall, and then you can see exactly where you need to drill. I know firsthand that Cricut can seem really intimidating, but I promise you it is not hard to use, it's not complicated, and it's truly worth the investment. Like I said, as somebody who loves to organize, I don't use anything else nearly as much as I use my Cricut. But now we are just assembling the command center, getting everything hung up, and then we're also going to style it with some decor. I saw a picture on Pinterest actually that kind of sparked this whole idea for me, and they had used this envelope that came from Target underneath a very similar calendar, so I decided that I wanted to pick this up as well because it ties in perfectly with our bar stools, and when you're standing and looking directly at this wall, it just, again, ties in perfectly with the bar stools and the envelope, the black arch, the colors of the kitchen. So I just really wanted to make sure I added this piece, but I did not like the hooks on the bottom, so I decided to cut those off and just use the envelope. I figured that we could use this envelope to stick important papers or bills that we need to pay or things like that, and just have a general place to put those things. So not only does this envelope look good, but it's also functional. I got this set of vases off of Amazon. I want to say that the set of 3 was like $15, but I did see some other ones as well on there that were a little bit more pricey, so I'll try to link these down below if I can. But I wanted to make sure to add a little bit of color to this wall, so we're just hanging one of these here and adding some greenery, and I feel like this was the perfect finishing touch. As we approach back to school season, this calendar is going to be so useful for keeping track of all of our schedules. I've really been wanting a family command center for quite some time. I just wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do, and I feel like I honestly nailed it. I'm so happy with this, and it's just going to be so functional and perfect for our family. The next Cricut project that we are going to be creating is an organization system for my son's clothes. So I've seen a ton of people having organizers labeled Monday through Friday, and every week on Sunday they get all of their kids' clothes for the week ready to go, put them in each slot, and I really wanted to create something like that. So the first thing that we did was, of course, create the design in Cricut Design Space. Very simple, very quick and easy to create, but I will also have that one in my Design Space profile if you're interested. And now we're just using the same materials. We're using that Cricut cutting mat, some white vinyl, and some transfer tape. This one was so quick and easy, and it just made such a big impact, and I'm so excited to use this for the upcoming school year. But we are loading up our machine, and then we will get to cutting our design out. I have seen people create these organizers using like fabric shoe bins that would hang in your closet, if you know what I mean, but Carson doesn't have a ton of closet space, so I decided to use these plastic drawers that came from Target. They're part of the Bright Room collection. They're a really good size for his current size. I'm sure at some point they won't quite work anymore, but I needed something that I was able to place on his dresser in his bedroom as opposed to hanging in the closet. So this was the perfect option for us. And I'm just using my transfer tape to transfer my vinyl onto the bins. Now, to demonstrate how I'm going to use this, I'm placing this on Carson's dresser. You guys will have to let me know what I should put on that bottom drawer. I was unsure because there's obviously only 5 days in the school week. I don't know if I should add Saturday or Sunday, or I should make a drawer just for socks or something like that. I'm really not sure, but if you guys have any ideas, make sure to leave them in the comments down below. This system is going to make our lives so much easier as we approach back to school, and once again I will have everything linked down below, all the materials that I used to create this, as well as my Cricut cutting machine. The next thing we're going to do is organize some clothes. I was finally able to find socks that were all one color. So I did pick up 1 pack of black socks and 1 pack of white socks for Carson, so we had some fresh ones for school, and I'm hoping this helps us to keep them organized and not lose so many socks. We really struggle with finding matches, so I think this will be helpful for us going forward. The organizers that you see in this drawer came from IKEA, and I believe they're part of the Scub line, and those are my favorite for drawer organization if you're looking for something to sort your drawers out. But like I said, we're going through all of the kids' drawers, we're putting in their new stuff, getting out anything that doesn't fit them. As you can see, Carson's drawers were quite empty, and that's because first of all, his laundry was in the wash, and second of all, I did recently go through his drawers and declutter them, so I didn't have to do quite as much work in his room as I needed to do in the baby's room. For Carson's shirts in particular, I like to fold these in the filing method so they stand up on their own, and you can see all of the shirts when you open his drawer and you don't have to go digging around to try and find what you're looking for. Moving on to Sutton's room, you guys, this is crazy. There was so much I had to sort through because there was laundry that was clean, there was clothes that didn't fit him anymore, and then I had a bunch of clothes that I had washed recently that used to be Carson's that I needed to sort through and put into his grow into drawer. So it was just a lot. So the first thing that I'm doing, I sped this up so quick so I wouldn't bore you guys, but I'm just sorting all of the clothes into piles. So I'm putting the shorts together, the pajamas together, the bigger clothes together, his shirts together, and then after that we will go through and hang things and fold things.
Nobody told me to settle down. Day nights and late nights don't get around, but there's something about you I like, about you I like. You're crazy for saying I should slow down, but maybe I'm escaping the love we found. There's something about you I like, about you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, nobody loves me better, nobody loves me better. Guess I'm just too scared to settle down.
I've recently started to hang all of Sutton's shirts in particular. I feel like this has worked out super well, and it saves me a backache and it saves me a ton of time spent trying to perfectly fold all of his shirts in the filing method, so I'm a big fan. But I'm just putting away all of his shirts for now. So all of these are like 18-month size and he's actually 19 months. But the t-shirts I feel like still fit him pretty well, and we are still in the summertime, so I wanted to keep those out and just have them hung up and ready to go. And then when the fall really kicks in, I will take all of those down and pack them away.
Drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, yeah. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious.
These shirts are old shirts of Carson, and some of them are size 2T, which will be Sutton's next size, but some of them are size 2 to 4 years, and I got them from H&M. So it's kind of a wide range, and they aren't going to quite fit him yet, but I wanted to have them available and ready to go just in case he does have a major growth spurt this fall or this winter. And I'm just folding these, and I'm going to put them into a grow into drawer that I'm going to create in his closet organization system.
I get why you left. Small-minded people sure know how to.
The shirts from that pile that I am hanging up are the ones that are size 2T, and then anything that was bigger than that I again folded, and I'm going to put into that grow into drawer.
Come here just so I could watch you make a mess. I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. So what the hell were you thinking then when you kissed your lips? Now I'm kinda glad you did. 'Cause now you adore me. Adore me. Go ahead.
Now we are going through pajamas. He had so many pairs of pajamas that were old, that were Carson's when he was a baby, and I just needed to go through those and get rid of anything that no longer fits him. Some of them were size 12 months that had just kind of got left behind, so there was just way too many pairs in here, and most of them didn't fit him. So I'm sorting through every single pair, and I'm going to set aside anything that no longer fits him, and then only put away the things that are his current size.
I didn't come here just so I could watch you make a mess. I didn't come here to ugly cry in my favorite dress. She thought she could tear us apart when she kissed your lips. Oh, what a plot twist. 'Cause now you adore me. Adore me. Go ahead now.
This is Sutton's pants and shorts drawer, and it was way too full, so I needed to again go through everything in this drawer and set aside anything that no longer fits him and only put back the things that are his current size. Most of these socks were mismates that I just kept putting back into the drawer, hoping that I would find their match, and then I never did. So I decided to finally let go of those today. Plus, a lot of them didn't fit him anymore, so Sutton's just going to need some new socks as we head into the fall. This pile here is everything that no longer fits Sutton that I'm decluttering from his room, which feels so good. But now we're just going through his last few drawers. He's got some onesies in this drawer, and then the one next to it, he had a bunch of pairs of shoes that I had to go through. And then once we're all done with that, that is going to be the end of this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope it gave you tons of organization motivation, some organization ideas. You'll have to let me know in the comments down below. What was your favorite part? Mine personally is that calendar. I think it turned out so good. I'm just thrilled with that family command center wall.
So sad when we are apart. If you leave, you break my heart. I need you to need me too. Stay with me when it's getting dark. Hold me tight, close in your arms. I want you to want me too.
So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another one. Today's video is kind of a mishmash, if you will, of decluttering and organization ideas. So we're starting off with some decluttering, actually a huge declutter, and then we're doing some light organizing, and then later on in the video I'm sharing some new, extremely affordable, budget-friendly organization products. And I have some really cool stuff and some unique ideas for you, so be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Right now, we are starting off with removing everything from this closet. This closet houses pretty random stuff. So it's got like paper towels, a bunch of different kitchen appliances, this bin that just was full of all kinds of stuff, backstock of food and things for our cats and stuff like that. So it was looking a huge mess. It really needed to be taken apart and cleaned out and then everything gone through so that we could better utilize this space. But while you are watching me do that, I wanted to address the inevitable comment about my kitchen not being small and that I should not call it small. I choose to use the term small kitchen in my titles because I always aim my ideas at those of you who are working with less space and who need the ideas to utilize your space a little bit better. That being said, I've done so many small space organization videos here on my channel, so if you are in need of ideas, be sure to subscribe and check out all my other videos. We dedicate this one little shelf here to our cats. We try to keep a backstock of their food, and it's always better to eliminate that excess packaging. So I always take all of their food out of the packaging and stack it up nicely. And I also try to make sure that I'm putting the newest ones in the back and pulling the older cans out front. But now that I have done all of that in the closet, I'm going to go through all of the items that were in there and figure out what we can part with. Decluttering can be really hard, and it can also bring up a lot of different emotions for whatever reason, and I certainly struggle with that. So if you feel the same way, just know that you are not alone. But for example, I have this waffle maker that you can see on the screen here. It's kind of in the right towards the back of my island. And I've had that waffle maker for about 9 years, and it was a gift, and I've honestly used it maybe once, and I found it to be not very user-friendly. I prefer to pull out our little mini like single waffle maker. I just find that so quick and so easy, and it makes the waffles perfectly every time. There's just no guesswork to it, and I love that about it. So I've been carrying this waffle maker around from house to house for the past 9 years, and I just don't need it anymore. It was time to get rid of it, and I'm just going to donate it, and I'm sure that there's somebody else out there who will appreciate it a lot more than I did. At this point, I'd kind of figured out what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to get rid of. So I'm just going to walk around, put things either back where they belong, put them in a pile for donations, or I'm going to put them back into the closet if I'm choosing to keep them in there. These are all the items that I am decluttering from the closet, and where that chicken came from, it's a long story, but that is leaving my house. It's so loud and annoying. And this is how the closet is looking after. So it's not perfect. It's not anything to write home about, but it's more functional for us, and we're able to keep a better backstock of things. I really needed to organize this drawer. This is where I keep all of our cleaning cloths and kitchen towels, and I had not folded them and put them away in quite some time, so it was much needed. I had a full laundry basket of all clean towels. So I'm just folding them all, putting them away. I really like these bamboo dividers that you can see in this drawer here. I believe I got those from Amazon. They are adjustable, so they'll fit in most drawers depending on the depth. And they also have little dividers that you can choose to use as well. You can kind of tell here that there are notches in these adjustable dividers. I feel like I'm saying the word dividers so many times. But anyway, there are little notches that you can insert additional dividers in to further section off your drawer. I don't use them in this one in particular, but in another drawer in my kitchen, I do use these dividers with the additional dividers to further section off that drawer. Hopefully that makes sense. That was such a mouthful. Anyway, after that whole thing, I do have all of the items that I use Typically they're from Amazon, so they'll be in my Amazon storefront, which is linked down below in my description box if you are interested in any of the things that you see in my videos. And here is the drawer looking all organized and pretty and super colorful. This cabinet here needed some major decluttering. I had so many things in here that I'm not using, that I don't need, so I just needed to go ahead and do this. This is like that cabinet that you just kind of throw stuff in and forget about, and it was just not good. So I'm taking every single thing out of the cabinet, of course, so I can actually see what's in there, and I found a whole ton of stuff that I did not know I had. I always make sure when I am decluttering and organizing to also vacuum out the space and just wipe it down, because there's no point in putting everything back into a dirty space. When you have it all cleaned out anyway, you might as well just take the extra step. This is all that I ended up keeping in this cabinet. It looks so much better, and now we're going to move on to one of my upper cabinets, which again was full of all kinds of junk and needed to be sorted through. I'm not going to take out every single thing out of this cabinet like I did in the other ones, but I am going to go through every single item and figure out what I can take out and what needs to stay in there. And then I'm also going to add a shelf riser so that I can better utilize one of these shelves, because I was using it for just all of our bowls and spreading them out across the entire shelf. So basically half of this shelf was being wasted before, but by adding a shelf riser, I'm able to better utilize the space that I have to work with by using that vertical space. And this is how this cabinet is looking after going through everything. And if you're wondering about like the plastic cups and the paper plates, those were left over from my son's birthday party, and we wanted to make sure that we used them. So now we're moving on to this cabinet, which is kind of an awkward cabinet in the corner, like an upper cabinet in my kitchen. It was obviously cluttered with all kinds of stuff, and again needed to be gone through pretty badly. I really wanted to make some room in here for some things that I was storing in the cabinet that's directly below this one on the lower section of my kitchen, because there's a lot of clutter in there, which you're going to see in a second. So what I'm doing here is just going through, figuring out what I can get rid of, trying to make some space, and then in a minute we will go down to that bottom cabinet and also go through that one so I can transfer some things into the top cabinet. Here's the mess that is in that cabinet. So a lot of this was also left over from my son's birthday party, actually from both of my kids' birthday parties over the past 7 months. I have stuck everything into this cabinet. So I wanted to, again, go through this cabinet, get rid of things that we no longer need, and then I'm also transferring all of that extra birthday party stuff up into the top of that other cabinet so that we have them the next time a birthday party rolls around and we don't need to repurchase things that we already have. Now this cabinet is looking much better, much more organized. I can actually see what's in there. It's again not perfect, but that's not what I'm trying to be, not trying to portray perfection. And then this upper cabinet is also looking much better, and again all that extra birthday party stuff is up at the top so we have it the next time we need it. And this is everything so far that I had accumulated to either donate or get rid of if it was trash. There was a ton of recycling I had stuffed into a cabinet, don't ask, but that I was finally getting rid of. And then also this Our Place pan. If you guys have these, I absolutely loved mine. However, all of the non-stick kind of burnt off over time, and I think that was my own fault because I was cooking on too high of heat. So just fair warning, if you have one of these, try to cook on a lower heat setting so it doesn't happen to you. But anyway, now we are working on the junk drawer or the utility drawer, whatever you want to call it. This drawer is organized actually pretty well, but it was just too full of too much stuff. But the good news is that because I have such a good organization system going in this drawer, it's relatively easy to clean it up when it does become a mess. My 6-year-old goes into this drawer all the time and grabs stuff, and then he doesn't necessarily put them back exactly where they're supposed to be. So I don't want to place all the blame on him, but he definitely messes with it, and that's why it kind of gets as bad as it does. But overall, the system has worked really well, and it's definitely nice to have a home for everything, so I know where to find something when I'm looking for it. We had run out of pens. I couldn't find pens like anywhere in the house, so I'm restocking those, and then I will show you guys how much better this junk drawer is looking after decluttering it. So it's obviously a different day now, but I wanted to include this in the video because I placed an order with Temu for a bunch of organization stuff. And this is the first time I've ever ordered from them. I've actually been very skeptical of their website. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but I have been a little bit afraid to place an order. But to my surprise, the package showed up at my door. So we're gonna open it together. I have not seen any of this yet. I'll also share like the prices of everything, since if you've heard of Temu, they are known for having very low price items. I guess we'll see if any of it's any good. Yeah, I have been kind of avoiding trying out Temu because I've heard some mixed opinions on it, but it wasn't until my friend Megan from the channel Loving Life as Megan talked about them that I decided to just give them a try. There was no packing slip in here, so I am gonna pull up my app so I can view my order and tell you guys how much I paid for everything and what they all are, because some of it comes in like very generic packaging, so I'm honestly not 100% sure what I ordered. I got 21 items for $78. On average, everything cost around $3.70. Some of this stuff was like change, like it wasn't even $1, so it's great. So this was actually one of the more pricey items, and this is a refrigerator organizer for cans, and I've really been in need of one of these. We drink a lot of seltzer, and they just kind of are difficult to organize in the fridge, so I'm excited to have this. This right here was $3.98, and this is like a dish rack, but I think I'm going to try and use it with my caraway lids because my friend Megan was using it in her video and it just seemed to work for that, so I'm gonna try that out for this. This is basically just like a giant hook that will stick to the wall, and it says it's for hats, so I might use this like in our entryway closet to organize hats and stuff on, as opposed to the bins that I currently use. And this was only $1.49. So this right here is like a garbage bag organizer, and this was $5.98, and it comes with 2 of them. Oh, this is like a Q-tip dispenser, and I just thought this was really cute, so, and this was really inexpensive too. This was $2.99. So these right here are hooks that slide onto your cabinet shelves, and I've actually ordered something pretty much identical in the past from Amazon, but these ones are only $2.48. These are tracks that you can stick onto your shelf. I think they just will adhere to like any basket, and you can create like a pull-out basket. This was $4.98, so we'll see if it works out. So these are wall hooks. This was $1.48 for 4 of them, and they just are like adhesive. And then this is, I believe these are adhesive as well. These are cable organizers, and this pack for 5 of them was $2.98. These are little object dispensers. They're really small, but they will mount to the wall or to the inside of your cabinet. I'll probably use these in like my bathroom for small things on the inside of the cabinet door. And this 2-pack was $3.49. This is really cool. So these are like cable organizers that you stick onto the back of something, and then you can wrap the cord around them to just keep it like out of sight a little bit more. And this pack was 6 of them, and it was $2.78. So these are pretty much just like little zip ties that go around cords to just keep them like together and organized. And this pack was $1.78, and I think there's 10 of them in here. These are hooks that will just go over like your cabinet door, so you can hang things from them. And this was a 4-pack, and this was $4.18. And the last organizing item that I got was this compartment refrigerator drain basket, and you can see like in the pictures on the side that you can use them like a couple of different ways to just like clean fruit. You can rinse your fruit off, you can soak your fruit in it, and then you can just lift it up and it will drain all the dirty water out. So I've been watching a lot of like meal prep TikToks and reels and stuff, so I really wanted something like this. And this was again really affordable. This was $6.38. This was actually one of the priciest items that I bought from Temu. The most expensive thing that I bought from Temu was this vacuum cleaner, and I'm going to try this out in my car and see if I can just like keep it in there for a quick vacuum. But this was, I believe it was like $8. Yeah, this was $8.48. So I'll let you guys know how this works. A couple other things that I got were just like cleaning stuff, and they were all again within that like $1 to $3 price range. And then these I'm excited for. These are maybe potentially a less expensive dupe for magic erasers. They look identical to them, and these were $3.98 for 12 of them. So we will see how these are. And then something else that I got was this sponge, because it looked kind of like a scrub mommy or a scrub daddy, and it was only $1. So I just wanted to try it out and see how it compares. I did also get a couple other things, like a rice strainer, and I think this is like a grill scraper. And then this is something for my son for the bath, so I can try to rinse his hair without it getting into his eyes, because he's really bad about leaning his head back. But that was everything that I got from Temu, and I'm pleasantly surprised again that everything showed up at my door. So I'm gonna try out a couple of things in this video, and we'll just see how it goes. So the first Temu product that we are trying here is that dish rack, so that I can organize my caraway pots and pan lids. This worked out super well. This was actually surprisingly sturdy, and I also really liked the way that it looks. I have always kept my lids on the inside of my cabinet door, and actually Caraway sends you an included organizer for your lids, but it's a little bit too big for my cabinet door, so they kind of stay open a little bit when that's on them. So I decided not to use it, and I was using just an over-the-door organizer that I got from the Container Store a while ago. But I don't like that either, because my littlest one, he is 18 months old. He comes over and he opens the cabinet doors and he plays with the lids, and I'm afraid he's going to hurt himself. So I decided that it would be better to store them inside of the cabinet instead of on the door where he's constantly playing with them. Caraway's pots and pans also come with an included organizer, and they're magnetic, so you can move them around any way that works for you. So I kind of moved mine around a little bit so that they would fit better in the side of the cabinet as opposed to in the back. And now everything is looking much more organized, and you could use this dish rack for so many different things, like baking sheets comes to mind as well, but I really like it for these lids. I wanted to show you guys that I did in fact clean out this organizer before I used it. I try to always clean out my bins before I use them for anything, so I'm testing out that sponge that I got from Temu, and it's definitely not as good as the Scrub Mommy or the Scrub Daddy. It looks relatively similar, but it's just not quite as sturdy. I will say though that I tested them out like side to side, seeing how much they retain the dish soap and how well they lather up. and the Temu one lathered up a little bit better, which was really surprising, and you'll see that here. Now I'm going to show you how that can organizer works. If you've never seen one before, if you've been living under a rock, I feel like they sell them everywhere, but I definitely think that the Temu price is the cheapest price around for these. Now, I am not somebody who really cares about their fridge looking perfectly organized. This to me is just something that makes it a little bit more functional, and I always choose function over aesthetic. I absolutely love this next one. It's so simple, but it makes such a big difference. So if you're somebody that leaves your KitchenAid out a lot, or you have other appliances on your countertops that you always have cords around, this is a game changer. It's adhesive. It just sticks right onto the back of whatever appliance that you have, and then you can easily wrap your cord around it so that it conceals it a little bit better, and it just keeps it contained, and it just looks a little bit more organized. Very simple again, but it really does make such a big impact. I feel like you could also use these like in your bedroom if you have a ton of cords, maybe by your nightstand or something. I think I'm going to try and use that in my bedroom. My husband's side of the room has way too many cords, and this I think will help a lot. So this honestly might have been like my favorite thing that I got from Temu. I'm demonstrating for you guys how this garbage bag holder works, and I'm using it in my bathroom because it's actually the perfect size for like the small trash bags that would fit into a little bathroom trash can. So I decided to use it in there, and I just really liked it, so I wanted to share it with you guys. But you just stick your trash bags in there, and it's like a little dispenser, and I just think it's really clever, and it's adhesive and sticks right onto the inside of your cabinet door or wherever it is that you store your trash bags. So if you happen to store them under your kitchen sink, it would work there as well. These are so cool. So these are tracks that you can turn pretty much any bin into like a pull-out drawer, and super affordable on Temu. Really easy to install. Everything is adhesive, and you can use it, I think, on like anything, any bin that you have. So I'm just demonstrating this in our pantry, and I'm using it for my kids' snacks so that when my 6-year-old comes over to the pantry and goes to grab a snack, it's easy for him to see what's in there just by sliding the bin out. And then also it prevents the kids from knocking the bin over and spilling the contents everywhere. So I'm a big fan of this for the pantry. But that is going to be it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new, and turn on your notification bells so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Here we are again with this closet being a total mess. So we are going to organize this today. I'm going to take everything out. We're going to declutter, reorganize. I might even take a trip to the Container Store. We'll see how much time I have, but this is a disaster, so we definitely got to figure this out. Okay, so we are going to get started by emptying out this linen closet. Just for some context, some background here, we are a family of 4, and we live in a 1,000 square foot home. And aside from our bedroom closets and then also like a little pantry type closet that we have in our kitchen, this is the only closet space we really have for the whole family. This is our one and only linen closet for our one and only bathroom, so it has to store a lot of things. I have organized and reorganized this closet a couple of times since we've moved in. I feel like there's kind of a common misconception that once you've organized something, it should be good to go, but that's just not the way that it works. You're always going to have to revisit a space, and the good news is that it should get easier every single time that you do this, and your organization system will probably be just a little bit better than the last. Whenever I'm organizing a space like this, I like to take every single thing out of the space so I can see what I have to work with, but also because I like to clean it out. Things can get dusty. We have 3 cats, so somehow, I don't know how, but their fur ends up in the closet. There's hairballs, so it's just really good to get everything cleaned out and reset. It also makes it easier to declutter and go through all of the things that you have when you see them all right out in front of you. Like I said, I always like to clean out the space, so here I'm vacuuming all of the shelves, and then I'm also going to go ahead and wipe them down just to make sure they're fresh and clean for when we put everything back in. It's always so interesting to see how much stuff you can fit into one space. Like this took up all the counter space in my entire kitchen island, all the counters. It's just so funny, and I can't believe we had so much stuff. So like I said, I have organized and reorganized this closet a couple of times, so there really wasn't all that much that I had to get rid of. A lot of it was just kind of excess packaging that had built up, but it's good to go through everything anyway and just see if there's anything that you can say goodbye to. I'm consolidating things, and I'm just going through each category of things individually to figure out what I need to keep and what I can get rid of. A lot of the times, a really simple way to utilize your small space a little bit better is to consolidate things. So in this case, I had 3 bags of Epsom salts that take up a lot of space in this closet, and I threw them all into a jar. I actually recently made these color block jars that I'm filling up with the Epsom salts in my Dollar Tree hacks and ideas video that I posted last week, so if you missed that, I will have that linked in the cards right here. But now I'm going through all of our medicines to figure out if there's anything that I need to dispose of, if there's anything expired, and I'll go ahead and get rid of those things. Every time I do this, I get comments saying that medicine doesn't really expire and that I shouldn't get rid of things that are expired, but I have actually spoken to a doctor about this, and he told me that medicine does actually go bad, and sometimes it can be just a little bit less effective if it's expired and not necessarily going to harm you, but there's always that chance that it could actually give you a bad reaction, so I'd rather just be safe than sorry. I noticed that my Dyson case was full of cat fur. There's kind of like a suede type of material on the inside of this, and it attracts the fur so much, so I wanted to vacuum all of that out. We are again just going category by category and going through all of the containers that I already had, figuring out what I can get rid of and what I can keep. But a lot of this I organized the last time I went through our linen closet, so it was still pretty good and I was able to keep a lot of it. But now we're going to go through all of these drawers. I actually made these years ago for under our kitchen sink when I was living in an apartment, and I still love them. I got the drawers from the Container Store. I made the labels myself with my Cricut, and these have been awesome. When I was going through them on this day, there was definitely a lot that was kind of shifted around where it shouldn't be. Things were mixed together, but it was easy enough for me to just go through everything and put it back where it belongs, and I'll continue to use these drawers because they've worked out really well for us over the years. I love knowing where these things are and that they're easy to grab. So for example, we have one that says temp, and that is our thermometers. So if the kids are sick, I know to go into this closet, open up the temp drawer, and our thermometers are always right there. Then we have one for like extra dental hygiene related things like extra toothpaste or extra flossers. I have a section for nails that I'm actually filling up with all of my nail polishes. I felt like that just made the most sense. But again, this drawer system has worked out so well, so I will continue to use it. I didn't declutter too many of these cleaning products, but a couple of them I did go ahead and get rid of. Now we're going to go ahead and go through all of the odds and ends that have been left behind on my island. You can see I'm kind of just throwing things to the side, and that's because I was making a pile on the floor of all the things that we are parting ways with. But now I'm going through our first aid kit, and this was something I really needed to do, and I'll kind of explain more about that in a minute. But I just really wanted to get everything sorted and put back where it belongs in our first aid kit and kind of take an inventory of everything that we have. For whatever reason, my camera ends up cutting off some of this, so you don't see me going through the entire thing, but I did share as much footage as I was able to of me trying to sort through the first aid kit. Okay, so my camera just stopped recording and I don't know what you guys missed, but I was organizing all of the first aid kit. This box is broken, so I don't know if maybe I'll get a different one today, because that's gonna kind of bother me. Not that that's like a big deal, but I don't know how that happened. So anyway, I was organizing, trying to consolidate all of our first aid stuff into this kit. We actually recently had an emergency where my 1.5-year-old cut his finger open really deep, and we had to go to urgent care, potentially had to get it stitched. They ended up being able to glue it, but we had to go back twice because the cut was so deep that it kept ripping back open. It was a nightmare, and when it was happening, I couldn't find anything that we needed. Like, I was in panic mode. My son, who is almost 6, was trying to find the first aid stuff, and we didn't have any gauze, we didn't have any tape. Like, it was a mess. So I am just letting you guys know, if you haven't checked out your first aid kits in a while, make sure that you do that. Just make sure you have everything that you need in case of an emergency, because that was really scary and I was alone with the kids and it was just not fun. So anyway, first aid kit, might get a new one, but this one at least everything is sorted. I know what I have. It makes me feel a little bit better. But this is kind of where we're leaving off. So I have all of this stuff. I figured out what I'm getting rid of, what I'm keeping, and then I just kind of have everything in categories. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to take a picture of everything that I have here, and then I'm going to head to the Container Store and I'm going to try to find things based off of the pictures that I have of everything that I need to organize, and then we will go from there. But this is everything that I am decluttering, getting rid of. This feels really good. I think I'm going to see if my sister wants that steam shot. I have not had a good time with the steam shot. It's not my favorite cleaning tool, so I'd rather it go to somebody else who might appreciate it more. But a lot of this is just bulk excess packaging that I had to get rid of, or things that are expired, no good anymore. So I will safely dispose of anything that is a medication, of course, and anything that is a cleaning product. But this is what I am planning to get rid of. Before I headed out the door, I wanted to get rid of as much of this as I could. So again, a lot of it was just excess packaging that I needed to break down and throw into my recycling. And here I am taking some pictures of everything. This is something I would highly suggest that you do before you head to the store. It's just very helpful. I actually ended up going to Target instead of the Container Store, so this is just some footage of the areas that I was shopping in. Okay, so I did not end up going to the Container Store for a couple of reasons. One, it's so expensive, and number two is that it's kind of far away from me, and I have one day without my kids today to get things done, so I don't want to spend it like in the car. So I decided to just go to Target because that is what's convenient to me. I wish I had a nice Walmart. I'm so envious of all of you who do, because mine is tiny and it's dirty and they just don't have much of anything, honestly. So to get to a nice one, it would be just as far as the Container Store. So anyway, I went to Target, and this actually came from the Bullseye's playground section, which is like the dollar section. So this was $5, and it's a stackable storage bin. They didn't have any of the, like, this was the only one they had, so I couldn't buy two to stack on top of each other, but I decided to get one in case they get them back in, and then I could just buy another one. But yeah, $5 for this, and it's pretty good. And then this also came from that section, so this was $5 as well, and this one probably stacks, but it doesn't have the same like lid as this one does. So anyway, I got those in the dollar section, and then I really like the Bright Room line for organizing. They have some really good stuff. So I got this stackable one drawer slide out bin, which I believe this is meant for like your closet and like your bedroom, but I'm gonna use it for the linen closet, obviously. And I would show you how it like slides, but it's really packaged up tight. But yeah, this, I can only fit one, like with the dimensions in our closet. I can't fit two of these on top of each other, but I still liked that it was like a sliding drawer and that it had a top so that I could put other things on top of it. So even if you can't fit two stacking drawers on top of each other, it's nice when it has that like hard top so that you can stack other things on top of it, not necessarily another one of these bins. I got these stackable bins as well, also from the Bright Room line. And then this one I think is so cool. It's two side-by-side stackable bins. So I picked this up because I just really like the idea of having it divided into two. So I'm excited for that. I actually got two of these, and then these stackable bins as well. So I spent like, I don't know, $90 or something ridiculous on bins, but if I end up not needing some of them, I'll just return them. But I also grabbed some smart vinyl for my Cricut because I would like to try and label these today if I have time. I wanted to put the bins in the closet empty so I could just kind of see how I wanted to assemble everything before I started filling them up and just figure out what makes the most sense. It's kind of like doing a little puzzle here, just trying to figure out the best way to fit everything into the closet. This just helps me to really visualize the space and figure out the best place for everything to go back to. Once I kind of figured out the general idea of where I wanted to place everything, I started to go ahead and fill up all of my new containers. These containers, these two sliding drawer ones, I am obsessed with these. I think these are awesome. I love how tall they are. I feel like they can fit pretty tall products in there, and anything that I couldn't fit standing up, I just laid down and that was totally fine. But I just, for some reason, really like this divided out two drawer system, and I'm really happy that I found these at Target on this day. So I will have everything that I am using this video linked in my description box down below. So if you're looking for something, it's all going to be down there for you to shop.
Life is a winding road.
For these bins, I ended up using one for kind of like our extra bath products, extra shaving cream, things like that. And then one of them I used for my husband's extra products like deodorant and lotion and things like that. And then this other one I decided that I wanted to use for towels. I feel like we've always just been folding our towels and just kind of sitting them on a shelf. And that system just doesn't really work well for us. I feel like we end up losing them somehow. Things get piled on top of them and I can't find them. So it's just nice to have a place for them to always go back to, and I'll always know where they are.
Say I lost my mind. I will keep on holding my head high, even if the sky is falling down.
I am not at all ready for fall, but this smells so good. So good. For the sake of keeping things kind of uniform with these clear bins, I wanted to move all of my Scentsy bars over into a clear bin. They weren't fitting amazing in this together because the other bin was a little bit longer and it was just kind of easier to store them in there. But it was like a puzzle, again, just trying to figure out how to make it work. I ended up consolidating a couple of the scents that were really similar so I could remove excess packaging. And I'm good on Scentsy bricks or whatever these are called for a while. Until I've gone through at least half of these, I don't plan to place any other orders.
I will keep on searching for my highs. You can say I lost lost my mind.
So now everything is just getting put back into the closet. I decided to put the tissues on the door where they were easily accessible. And then I always use these top 3 shelves for our medicines. I usually do one shelf for our kids' medicine, and then I do the next one for like our allergy type medicine, and then one for pain relievers and like cold and flu medicine. It just makes, again, the most sense for us. I feel like I keep saying that, but you just have to do what works best for you and your family. Some people will store their medicines in their kitchen and that works just fine for them, but for us this has definitely been the best way to organize these things, keep them out of reach of the children, and also have them be easily accessible for us when we are in need of them.
It doesn't even make sense why I think about you. It was only one night, only that time, and it's not my style to be caught up in the middle like this. 'Cause now I dream about you. I was probably too drunk, it's blurry, but I've got the image of you running circles in my mind right now. And it could fade away, but it probably won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive
I store usually all of our more dangerous cleaning products up high so they're out of reach of my kids. My kids would never get into this closet and get into that stuff, but you know, just in case, I try to store the dangerous things up high, and that is like Drano, bleach, Clorox products and things like that. And then on that bottom shelf of this door, I store like my Blue Land stuff and 7th generation, the more natural things that are safe. My kids aren't going to get in there anyway, but just in case, I just try to keep it safe for them. But now I am taking out my Cricut because I wanted to make labels for all of the bins. My Cricut Joy is easily my favorite organization product that I have. I love to make labels for everything, and it's just so quick and convenient. This smaller machine is by far my favorite of all of the Cricut machines.
But I know they won't, and I should let it be. But I'm gonna dive into you.
I find the process of weeding out all of the excess vinyl to be just so satisfying, so that's what I'm doing here, just getting all of my labels ready to go onto my bins. Now for the best part, I'm laying out all the labels onto the bins and getting them stuck on there. It just looks so nice. I usually do like black labels, so the white is different for me, but I really like the way that it looks. I think this is giving like home edit, and obviously I'm obsessed with home edit just like everybody else, so I really like the way that this turned out. Okay, so I'm actually really excited about the way that this turned out. This feels very home edit in my opinion. So I'm super happy with this, and I hope that this gave you guys some motivation to maybe tackle your linen closet. But yeah, these, I will have everything linked down below, any of the bins that I used, and then I'll also have this exact door organizer linked, which is from the Container Store, but there's also a Target dupe, and last I checked it was half the price of the Container Store one. I did hear that Target might have raised the price of This organizer, it's not the exact same thing, but it is extremely similar. Like the dimensions are exactly the same. It's got the mesh baskets. So I will, again, I'll have both options linked, the actual one and then the Target version, and hopefully the Target one is still cheaper. But yeah, very happy with how this all turned out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment, all the things, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another video.
I know the next morning when the sun goes up, it might be the last day of you and me. You're lying next to me with heavy eyes while I shiver inside with a heavy heart. I know what I've done, and I'm too afraid to let it go. If I could, I would turn back time if I could.
Hey guys, and welcome back for another organization video. This week we are talking all things Target, sharing the best of the best organization products, some ideas for you guys on how to use different things to save and maximize space in your home. Target is one of my favorite places for all things, but their organization section is just great. They have so many different items, bins of all shapes and sizes and for all budgets, made with so many different materials just to suit whatever it is that you're looking to organize. But aside from all their bins, which I'm sure you guys know how to use, they've got some great organization products like shelf risers, Lazy Susans, different shelving systems, and things like that. So we're going to be talking about all the things that I found strolling the organization aisles of Target. Everything will be linked down below, assuming it is available online, so be sure to check there. But if you're looking to organize a space in your small home and you need some ideas, you have come to the right place. I post new organization videos here on my channel every single week, so be sure to subscribe if you're new, and let's just get into it. Here we have our very first organization product of this video. So this is the Utopia 2-tier turntable. I'm a big fan of the Utopia brand. I've been using things from Utopia for years, and I was actually purchasing them on Amazon. And this day when I went to Target is the first time I'd ever noticed that they were available in Target in store. This turntable is really easy to put together. It doesn't require any tools. It takes like 20 seconds. And the cool thing about this one is that it's adjustable, so you can adjust it up and down to suit whatever height it is that you need it to be at. You could, of course, store whatever you want on this, but I think this would be perfect in a pantry. And for the sake of demonstration, I'm showing you just putting some baking supplies on there. You guys know that I just love a good turntable, and again, this is a brand that I know and love, and I was so excited to see them in Target, and I'm very happy to support them. So again, anything that I'm using in this video is going to be linked in the description box below if you're looking for it, but this is a very good product available at Target. This was probably one of my favorite things that I found at Target on this day, and this was in the Bullseye's playground section, or the dollar spot as some people call it, but the products are actually between, I think, $1 and $5 in that section, so it's not really a dollar spot. But this is technically a dessert stand. It was $5. It's all black. It's made of wood. I just think this is so good. I decided to use it next to my stove to put things that I'm always leaving out on my counter, just to kind of rise them up a little bit, make it look a little less cluttered. I just think it adds a little bit of a decorative touch. So you could use this, of course, for anything, but again, for demonstration purposes, I'm showing you what I used it for. I'm putting my Echo Dot on there, some candles that I always have out, my salt, pepper, and olive oil. And a lot of the times when I make these organization videos, I will take down the things that I'm doing because I'm constantly reorganizing, showing you guys new ideas. But this is something that I left up, and that's how you know that I love it. Probably one of my top most requested links on my channel is for this door organizer, and this one in particular is from the Container Store, and this one is like $140 or something like that. I might be wrong, but I think it's around that price. But I recently found this one on the Target website. It's not the exact same brand, but it is the exact same dimensions and the same idea, and it's only $60. So I wanted to tell you guys about it. I'm just showing you some clips from past videos of how I use this organizer. We have one in our linen closet, we have one in my son's bedroom closet, and utilizing the inside of doors is so helpful when you live in a small home and you just don't have a lot of space to work with. So again, because this is such a great deal, I wanted to share this with you guys and just encourage you to check out that link down below. Get this before it's gone, because I saw that it was not available in stores any longer, so I don't know if they're phasing it out, but this is such a great organizer and you can get it for less than half the price of what you would pay at Container Store. This next organization item is this mini 2-tier organizer. I actually have one of these from this exact same brand, and it's a bigger version of it. So when I saw the mini one, I thought this was a great idea because, again, this video is aimed towards those who live in a small home or are working with a small space. This one is much more narrow than the other one that I have. So if you're trying to organize under your kitchen sink or under your bathroom vanity and you just don't have a lot of space, this might actually work for you. This is another product that is so easy to put together and it doesn't require any tools. And you guys know that I love to use anything that will utilize vertical space, because if you're working with a small space, you have to find a way to use every single square inch of the real estate that's available to you. So if you're organizing again under a bathroom vanity or under your kitchen sink, vertical space is crucial. I wanted to show you guys also what my other organizer looks like that is similar to this one, so you can see the size options that you have available to you. So this is the bigger one. I use this under my bathroom vanity. In this particular video, I was decluttering and organizing under my bathroom vanity, but I really like these 2-tier organizers in particular because they slide out, so it's easy to grab what you need from the back without having to dig around. But also they come with dividers, and something about dividers just makes me feel more organized in general. I wanted to demonstrate for you guys so you can see how this product looks in a space and how I would use it. So I'm putting this under my kitchen sink. In the bottom section, I will put some sponges. I'll also put a scrubbing brush, and then the top section is better for your cleaning products because you're not restricted at the height, having another tier above it. So I'll put my cleaning sprays on top. But again, I really like using vertical space, so I definitely wanted to share this with you guys because this one is narrow and I have not seen anything quite as narrow as this one. This is like the perfect size if you have a very small space to work with under your kitchen sink or your bathroom vanity. This next item we have here also came from Bullseye's Playground, and it's a shelf and it's got some hooks. My idea for this was to put this on the back wall of your kitchen so you could hang things from it and use that shelf, but I was not able to properly demonstrate this because I actually ran out of command strips, so it was literally hanging on by a thread. But if you have plenty of command strips, I would probably put 3 on the back here to support this, then this would be a great way to use the wall space in your kitchen. But if you don't want to use it for this, this would also be perfect in your entryway to store keys and things that you need when you're running out the door. You guys know that I love using drawer dividers, and I found these adjustable drawer dividers at Target. Unfortunately, these did not work out for me. These didn't fit in either my kitchen drawers or my bedroom drawers. So I wanted to just warn you guys, in case you're looking for something like this, that this probably isn't the one. You might want to check your dimensions. There's definitely better options out there. So unfortunately, this one does not fit in my dresser drawers, so I'm unable to use it. It is an adjustable drawer divider, but this is as small as it gets, and I actually do have quite deep dresser drawers, so definitely check the dimensions before you go ahead and buy something like this if you're planning to use it in either your kitchen cabinets or in your dressers. This doesn't fit in my kitchen cabinets either. It's too tall, so buyer beware. These drawer dividers though from the Bright Room line are so cool. I really liked these. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of different ways that you can use these. I don't know what I was expecting when I opened this package, but what I saw was definitely not it. And I don't know, I really don't know what I was expecting here, but you have to kind of put this together. It's a little bit like a puzzle, but once I figured out the pattern, it wasn't so bad. They just kind of snap in place. It's just a plastic material, but what I really like about this is that it's so versatile and you could put as many of these pieces together as you want to fit into the space that you need. My first thought for this was to actually organize the inside of your bedroom drawer. So if you've got like a sock and underwear drawer that's out of control, this could be really good for that. So I'm going to show you just me putting some socks in it because we're close, but we're not quite that close. So I think socks is as far as I'm willing to go here on the internet, but you could put your socks in each of these different sections, or again, you could put your underwear if that's what you want to do, or whatever it is that you're storing in that drawer in your bedroom. But this is an idea. I only put a couple of the pieces in here just again for demonstration, but I thought an even better idea for this was to use this for your utility or junk drawer, whatever you want to call it. These little sections are perfect for organizing different things that you would store in that drawer. So for example, I'm putting some Bluetooth headphones in here, a bunch of our assorted charging ports, got some clothespins, some crazy glue, some batteries, and these sections are just perfect for it. So I wanted to include this idea if you guys needed an organizer for that particular space in your home. This one is pretty obvious, but I decided to include it anyway because I needed one of these and I picked one up on this day, and this is just a sponge holder that suctions onto the inside of your sink. If you have a small space, it's good to get one less thing off of your countertops, and I feel like this might be a little bit less germy than leaving the sponge directly on top of the countertop. I don't know, I could be wrong, but I felt like this was a good idea and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Again, with the turntables, I like this one from Bright Room because it has a couple of different sections in it. It's a nice, sturdy, solid plastic. It's not flimsy at all. And I'm using this to organize inside of our pantry. My son's snack section was looking a little bit out of control, so I decided to use this bin for that, again because it has the different sections in it. So I could put his Rice Krispie treats in one section, his bars in one section. We had some little chocolate banana granola bites, and he can spin it around and see what's available to him, and it just makes it look a little bit more organized, and it's easy for my 5-year-old to find what he's looking for. This right here is an angled drawer tray. This is another thing that I'm a big fan of, and this was a really good price at Target. I think I found this in the bathroom section, but I'm going to use this to organize some of my essential oils that as of right now we're just kind of sitting in a bin in one of my drawers. So I'm emptying that drawer out first of all, and then I wanted to take the stickers off, and I was actually having kind of a hard time. They were sticking really bad and leaving behind a residue, so I decided to try out a little trick that some of you guys over here on YouTube have told me about, and I figured I would share that as well if you're also dealing with this same struggle sometimes, and that is to just heat it up with your hair dryer. So I pulled out my Dyson Airwrap and I heated up the plastic, and they did peel right off with leaving behind like very minimal residue. So this worked out really well, and thank you guys for always sharing your tips and advice with me. But now we're going to go ahead and get this into this very slim drawer here in my kitchen that was housing my essential oils, but I couldn't see what they were. It was kind of tricky to find what I was looking for, so this makes it a lot easier to see what it is that I have and find things that I'm looking for as I need them. You could also use this in your bathroom. Again, I think that's what it's intended for, or you could use it to organize your spices. I shared this Bright Room product in my last video where I was decluttering and organizing our entryway closet. So I wanted to share it again here because this also came from Target and I really, really like it. But there was a little bit of a design flaw in my opinion with this, and that was when I tried to use the included hooks to hang it over the door. It was preventing me from closing the door because there's kind of a shelf on the top with a thick fabric material, and it was just blocking the door frame altogether. So I don't know if that's an issue everybody will have, but that was an issue that I had. So what we ended up doing was my husband screwed screws in to the door and we hung it off of that. He put some washers on the end of the screws so that it wouldn't slide off of it. That has worked out perfectly fine for us, but I wanted to just warn you guys, because if you don't want to have to screw into your door in order to hang this up, then you may not want to buy this product in particular. I just like to keep things real and keep things honest over here. But what I love about this particular organizer is that it has a ton of different sections for storage. So it's meant for shoes, but again, there's a shelf on the top so you could store some things up there. But also I was storing other things in this besides shoes. So again, this was in our entryway closet. So I stuck some face masks in case we need them at any point in there. I also stuck my son's goggles for when we go swimming in case we need to grab those as we're running out the door. I even put our cat's harness and leash in there, so you could store all kinds of things in here, not just shoes, and it's utilizing the back of the door space that may otherwise be wasted. Another item that I really like from the Bright Room line is this acrylic organizer. You could use this for anything that you want, but I use mine for my makeup, and it just makes it really easy for me to organize everything out. I try to do one section for eyes, one for face, one for lips. All the different drawers are different sizes, so if you have bigger products that you need to store in there, you should be able to, no problem. I like that it's clear so I can see what is in what section. You could label this if you wanted to, if you felt like being a little bit extra, but I just wanted to share it because it's something I've been using from Target, from the Bright Room line for multiple years now, and I really like. I do all things organization here on my channel, so I do small kitchen organization ideas, bedroom ideas, closet ideas, and bathroom. We've done a full makeover renovation on our bathroom ourselves, and I've shared that over here, as well as a whole bunch of videos on just how to organize a small bathroom, because ours is very, very tiny. So if you're looking for ideas, I just wanted to let you guys know I have those videos here on my channel. Another item that I wanted to just shout out really quickly is this Simple Human shower organizer. This is another product that just utilizes vertical space. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. We have a family of 4 and we only have 1 bathroom, so having this in the corner of our shower is so helpful for organizing all of our things. I hope you guys enjoyed all these Target organization ideas. We love a good trip to Target. I feel like we're there probably at least 2 to 3 times a week, which is bad now that I'm saying it out loud. If you enjoy organization videos and you need some organization ideas for a small space in your home or just for your small home in general, I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I post new organization videos every single week. I've done an Amazon dedicated organization video as well as a Dollar Tree dedicated organization video so far in this series, so if you missed those videos, I will have them linked down below. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all things fridge, freezer, and pantry. We are taking everything out, decluttering, cleaning up, and reorganizing. I know this can be such a daunting task. I personally dread it, so if this is something that you need to get done as well, I hope that this video encourages and motivates you to tackle it. You will be so happy that you did. We don't have a walk-in pantry. Ours is quite shallow, but as usual, just a disclaimer, I certainly do not claim to have the smallest kitchen or the smallest pantry, but I aim most of my videos at an audience who is working with a smaller space to help provide ideas and solutions. I have videos organizing multiple different pantry spaces and smaller refrigerators, so if you're looking for those videos, I will have them linked in my description box. But for this video, we are starting out with the fridge. I'm emptying it out most of the way, not all the way, however. I did go through and declutter condiments very recently, so we're not going to be touching that right side door, but pretty much everything else is coming out so we can wipe the fridge down and clean all the bins. Whenever I am decluttering and organizing a space, I always make sure to clean it as well. I would hate to put all of the food items back into the fridge in this kind of a mess, so I make sure to take out bins so I can wash them with soap and water. We are a big cheese family. I feel like we always have a ton of different cheeses. On this day, we actually didn't have that much, and that's because typically when I do clean out my fridge and my pantry, I do it on days where we don't have a lot of food, where I do need to go grocery shopping. It just makes the whole process a little bit easier, and it helps me to know what we already have on hand and what we may need when we stop at the store. But I would love to know if any of you are like us and you have a whole bin just dedicated to cheeses. I feel like our cheese gets one of the biggest bins in our refrigerator, and for some reason I find that funny, but that's the way that my mom always did it as well. So when my husband and I moved in together, we've just always had a bin special for cheese. You'll notice I'm kind of shuffling things around that I did not remove from the fridge, and those are things like yogurts and milk and smoothie pouches and stuff like that that are extra perishable that I didn't want to take out and leave on my countertop for too long, so I was just moving them around in my fridge as I was getting it wiped down. And to wipe down the fridge, I pretty much always use my Dawn Power Wash. I just think that it works the best at breaking down any grime that may be stuck onto the surfaces in your refrigerator. This is definitely one of those tasks that I really dread doing, but it does come with so much reward. I don't know about you guys, but after I have cleaned out my fridge and my pantry and everything is looking organized and fresh and I know all the food is good, it just makes me happy and it feels kind of like a fresh start in a way. These drawer bins are removable, but like I said, I did this fairly recently, so things weren't messy enough that I needed to take these out and wash them in the sink. The method that I found the easiest to declutter, if I can explain this correctly, just bear with me. I like to take everything out of the space, clean it out of course, and then just start putting things back where they belong. Typically, you grab the most important things first, and I find that as I near the end of the items I'm sorting through, those are the things that it's time to let go of. They're the scraps, so to speak. It also makes the process easier for me because I have a tendency to get overwhelmed by the mess around me, and doing this, it just means that there's less mess and it gets put away a lot faster. So next time you're decluttering, maybe try that method and let me know if you found it worked out a little bit better for you. There is something just so satisfying to me about putting everything back into the fridge when it's all clean. We're not a family who uses matching acrylic containers in our refrigerator, and that's not because I don't like that or don't believe it works. It definitely does, and I'm envious of those of you whose refrigerators look like that. just doesn't function for us in this season of life. With small kids, it's really tough, and that's fine. For now, I just focus on keeping like items together, removing excess packaging that's taking up space, and making it easy for us to find what we're looking for. But as I always say, organization is personal, and you should always do what works best for you and your family, and also your budget. We don't usually have a ton of extra food in our home, as much as I would love to buy in bulk sometimes. We just don't have the storage. Our basement's off limits since we've had mice before. The only storage we have for food is in our kitchen. But the good thing about that is I feel like we have less food waste since we usually only shop for what we need 1 week at a time. There's always going to be some sort of food waste. We're human, things go bad, things get shoved in the back and forgotten about, but we do our best to keep the waste to a minimum, and we make sure to recycle packaging as much as we can. So these are the things that I need to clean out so I can recycle them. We try to recycle as much as possible. So I've got some containers here that had like pepperoni and little meatballs in them that went expired. So I'm gonna clean out those containers. I'm gonna clean out these 2 drinks. Actually, this one was never even opened. I'm gonna see if my husband will drink this, but I probably will not. And then these are pizza sauces that have just been in the fridge for too long. And then these are pretty much empty anyway. They're both cream cheese, but I'm gonna clean out their containers so I can recycle those. This was completely empty this morning, so we've added quite a bit to our recycling, but again, we're big into trying to recycle where we can. So I just wanted to include this in here so you guys can see what's happening, I guess, with any of the food waste or with any of the packaging. I'm not just throwing it in the trash. And this over here is cheeses that have been in the fridge too long. This one expired in early May, and then we've got the moldy cheese right here. And then these are also just expired. This is just empty packaging, but this is expired from April. And here's how the fridge is looking after. It looks so much cleaner and more organized and ready for me to go grocery shopping, since now I had a really good idea of what we have in our inventory. Now we're moving on to the freezer, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't know if I've ever fully taken everything out of the freezer and gone through it since we've had this refrigerator. So this was very much needed. I've definitely gone through the items and I've thrown things out when they've gone bad and things like that, but I've never taken every single thing out and gone through each item individually and also cleaned out the freezer. So again, this was just very much needed. Can you tell that I have never done this before? Because there was definitely some mess left behind once I got everything emptied out, and I'm going to pull out the vacuum for this because there's no way that just using a cloth with some Dawn Power Wash is going to pick all of this up. Once the freezer was all wiped down, I started going through everything. I had 2 laundry baskets full of stuff, and I just knew we did not need all of this. We needed to get rid of some stuff that had been in there for a while and was freezer burned or expired. But the reason why I had 3 laundry baskets is because I thought we would have some food that we would bring downstairs into our deep freezer to store down there. So I was just having that basket out and ready so I could bring all that downstairs easily, but we didn't end up having anything that needed to go down there. Like I said earlier, my favorite method to declutter and organize is to just start putting things back as I go, and that just makes me feel a little bit less overwhelmed. So you'll see that I'm kind of going through stuff and then I'm putting things back, and I just continue doing that until all of it is back where it belongs. And here is how the freezer is looking after. I tried to keep like items together, so vegetables in one side, desserts all in one spot, breakfast stuff all in one spot, dinner stuff kind of all in one spot, and just did the best that I could to make it organized, but it's definitely tough in one of these bottom freezers. But now we are going through the pantry. I organized our pantry back in the fall of 2022, I believe, and I've been really happy with the method that I came up with for this pantry. It's worked out well for us, and at this point, we're kind of used to the place of everything, so I didn't need to reorganize it completely, but I did need to go through all the items and just check for anything that's expired, potentially moldy, or anything like that, and get rid of those items. Plus, I just wanted to kind of resort the bins a little bit so that I knew they were all exactly where they were supposed to be. I did not take every single thing out of the pantry because, again, our system has been working, so I knew they were just going to end up right back there. But I did take the majority of the things out, and I wanted to make sure to wipe down the shelves. They weren't super dirty, but there was a little bit of crumbs left behind. Now we're just going to start going through things. I have all these bins that I believe I got from TJ Maxx or Home Goods back in the fall, and I labeled them all using my Cricut, and I tried to keep the labels very general, so I have breakfast on them or snacks or dinner, and that just helps me to maintain this organization system because by being general, that means I'm not so limited on what I can put in each of the bins. So in the dinner bin, I can combine rice and macaroni. I don't need two separate bins for rice and macaroni, if you get what I'm saying. So this system has just worked out really well for us, and I also don't have too many bins to the point where you can't fit any of those loose items. I just used whatever made sense for our family without overcomplicating it, and I really, again, like this organization system. It's worked really well for us, and although our pantry can sometimes get a little bit cluttered, it's not because the organization system isn't working. It's because maybe I was too lazy to open up a box, and so we got too much excess packaging, or maybe my 5-year-old went in there and kind of shuffled things around and didn't put things back where they belong. But it definitely has worked for us, and it's been really easy to maintain for the most part. To go through the pantry items, I was doing pretty much the same thing I did in the fridge and the freezer, where I took everything out and I was putting things back as I was going along, but this did require a little bit more sorting and a little bit more going through things on my counter as opposed to putting them back as I go, just because I was using these bins, so I had to sort the bins before I could put them back, if that makes sense. But I was also making a pile for anything that was trash or anything that was recycling as I went along. I don't know what happened here, but my camera got a little bit out of focus for a minute, so just bear with me. It should get better in a minute. Someday, I definitely hope I have a beautiful walk-in pantry, but obviously we're not in that stage of life right now. We're just not quite there yet, but I am so grateful for the pantry that we do have, because if you guys have been following my channel for a while, I lived in a big house. We had actually a decent sized pantry. We never organized it properly, but we did have a decent sized pantry. I moved into an apartment where we had no pantry at all, and I had to get real creative with food storage in there. I have a ton of videos on all of that here on my channel if you're interested. But then we moved into this house, and we had a very slim cabinet that had kind of like rolling drawers inside of it as a pantry. Was not a big fan of that, but I did the best that I could. I have a video organizing that as well. But now that we have this tall pantry, although it's shallow, it's just so nice to have this kind of storage for all of our food and to be able to see everything so easily. We have reached the scraps stage where pretty much everything that's left behind is either excess packaging or food that has gone bad or expired that I need to get rid of. I do again feel like our food waste is kept to a minimum, but I don't love sharing things like this on my channel because there's always somebody who's going to comment and say that I'm like single-handedly ruining the planet by having food waste. So if you planned on commenting that, please don't, because I'll just delete it. But anyway, I am getting rid of whatever food was no longer good and making sure to separate out the packaging so I could get that into my recycling. This brown sugar was so old that I was having such a hard time getting it out of the container. It was like a brick. But once we finish getting rid of all the food that is no longer good, I'm going to show you a quick snapshot of how the pantry looked after. So much less clutter. We have way more space, so when we go shopping, we can fit things. And that will be the end of this week's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it and it gave you some motivation to go tackle your fridge, freezer, or pantry, or all three if that's what you need to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will come back again next week for another video. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel for another organization video. Today we are taking apart my small entryway closet. We're taking every single thing out of there, going through it all, doing a big declutter. We're cleaning it out and then we're going to reorganize everything back into the space. I'm sharing some organization tips and tricks along the way, and I hope this video helps to motivate you to tackle some organization project in your own home. Here I'm just sharing some before clips. You can see it was a complete disaster in our entryway. We didn't have enough space to store everything that we needed, and so things were overflowing out into our dining room. It was just a big mess, really needed to be taken apart and reorganized, and I'm going to take you guys along with me on this whole project. Okay, so this is the organizer that I picked up from Target, and it's by the Bright Room line. I really like that line at Target. They have some good stuff. You guys will see there's kind of a little bit of a hiccup with this one, but we'll deal with that later. So obviously I filmed this on a different day because mom life took over and I just did not get it done on the day that I wanted to, but we are emptying out the closet now. When I do a project like this, I really like to empty the entire space out so I can see exactly what I'm working with, but also because I like to do a clean of the space so that when I put everything back in all organized, it's nice and clean and fresh. This has become kind of a twice a year thing for me. I will organize this closet going into the spring season, and then I'll also organize it again going into the winter season. It's just easy when you have a young family to have things kind of pile up and get out of control, and especially during the winter when you're wearing boots and you're wearing more layers, it's just harder to keep the space organized, so it's always good to go through it at the end of the winter season especially. And here is just a close-up of why I like to completely empty the space and clean it out before I get to organizing. I definitely don't want to organize everything all nice right into like dirt and everything else that's in there. But this is all the stuff that was in the closet on the floor. So many pairs of shoes. It's crazy. There's only 4 of us in our family, and the baby, he really doesn't have many pairs of shoes. So The rest of us are really the issue and not him, but this is also all of our bins full of hats and gloves, all of our winter coats out on the table. It's so crazy how much stuff can fit into one small space once you take it all out and take a look at it. We added these shelves in, I believe it was last spring, and I stained them because I just thought that it looked nice and I was sick of the all white all the time. So I really like how this closet looks, and this just helps to add lots of shoe storage for us or just storage for other things, but it still wasn't enough shoe storage for us. We don't have a master closet. My son's closet is mostly a place to store his things and his toys, so there just really isn't a place for us to put all of our shoes other than in our entryway closet. So obviously I wanted to declutter a little bit, but I knew that even after I decluttered, there would still be more shoes than what was going to fit on those 3 shelves. So I decided to go ahead and get an organizer that would go over the door so that I could use the door space to organize some shoes. So you guys will see here that I started to hang this organizer over the drawer, and I pretty quickly realized that I think this is honestly a design flaw with this product, because when you hang it over the door, the top has kind of a thick fabric because there's a shelf right at the top, and that gets stuck in your door frame and your door will not close all the way. So this kind of frustrated and derailed me a little bit, because my plan was to go through the shoes first and put things away that I knew we were going to keep, and then put everything else aside to go through after. That's just kind of the way I like to do things when I'm organizing, but I ended up having to do everything completely differently because I could not fit this organizer on the back of the door, and I wasn't sure if I was going to return it or if my husband and I could come up with another way to make it work. I wanted to keep moving despite the hiccup, so I decided to go through the shoes anyway, but I wanted to put them all into pairs and lay them all out in front of me so we could really see how many pairs of shoes we had. And then since my husband was actually home on this day working from home, he was able to go through his own shoes and decide which ones he wanted to keep and which ones he wanted to donate or throw away. My husband has a lot more pairs of shoes than the rest of us. He's definitely a shoe guy. I feel like every time I turn around, he's getting another new pair of shoes, but he is somebody that he likes to work in our yard outside. So he has shoes for working outside. He's got shoes for work. He's got shoes for the gym. And he also has different pairs of shoes depending on which workout he's doing at the gym. He's very into powerlifting. So I guess when you're doing deadlifts and things, you need different types of shoes. So anyway, he's got quite a collection, and I was hoping that he would get rid of maybe a few more pairs than he ended up getting rid of, but he did go through them and get rid of a couple. So at least that's something, and you guys will see we did find a solution in this video for that over the door organizer, so it didn't end up being any issue at all storing the rest of the shoes that we kept. This was when I asked my husband to come over and start going through his pairs of shoes, and I'm just showing you guys how many pairs he has. If we had a master closet, I'm sure this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but in such a small house, it's definitely a challenge to find storage for things like this. So anyway, he went through the shoes, and at this point, we had not decided what we were going to do about that organizer. So some of them we were putting aside in a box, others we were putting away into the closet, and then a couple of them we had put aside to get rid of. My husband only wanted to part with 2 pairs of shoes, and you know what? I like these ones, and he only wore them one time, but apparently he doesn't like them. So these shoes and these shoes are gone, and then the rest, they're in this bin, and if we figure out how to make the door organizer work, then we can put them in the closet, but I'm starting to think that maybe that door organizer is a little bit excessive, and I don't know, maybe it's not working for a reason, so probably will not use that one. Maybe I'll return it and find something smaller that we can put on the inside of the door. But these shoes over here are ones that no longer fit Carson, so I'm going to save these ones for when Sutton gets bigger. These ones are in good shape, but the other ones that he has, that he's kind of beaten to death, I'm not going to save those for Sutton at that point. I'd just buy him some new shoes, but these ones, like winter boots, those are expensive, so it's good to save those for when Sutton gets a little bit bigger. And now I need to go through all of these coats. We have a winter coat bin, so some of them are just going to go into the bin. Some of them are Carson's old coats that no longer fit him, so again, I'll save those for Sutton. And then anything that does fit Carson, hopefully they'll fit him going into the next winter season, but we shouldn't need them anymore this season. So I'm going to get those put away in the winter coats bin in the basement. And then all of these, I need to figure out matches for gloves, hats that still fit the kids, things like that. So this is going to be kind of a project, but I would like to eliminate the masks bin because we really don't need them very often anymore, and I'm just ready to move on from that chapter in my life. So yeah, we're going to eliminate this bin and just have the hats and the gloves bins. Living in a small home, we definitely have to rotate out our collections of things depending on what the season is. So in this case, I was taking all of the winter coats out and putting them aside so they could go into our winter coats bin, which we store in our basement. I always love this feeling in the springtime when I'm able to get all those winter coats out of there. They're just so bulky, and just replace them with little rain jackets and just light jackets for the spring season. It's just such a nice feeling, especially when we're working with such a small space. It was really starting to stress me out how messy this was, and I'm relieved that this project is finally done. I'm a big fan of bins and labeling bins, so I have these gloves and masks and hat bins that I put together back in spring of 2022, I believe, when we first organized this closet. So I'm going through every single thing in them. There were a lot of gloves that no longer had a pair, so I was able to declutter those things since we must have lost them outside somewhere or at school or something like that. So I was able to go through that bin. I went through the hats bin as well. A lot of them no longer fit the kids, so I was able to put those aside. But then my husband's hats were also in that bin, and since I was trying to eliminate the masks bin, I decided that I was going to take all the masks out of there, put them into a different organizer just in case we ever need them, and then I ended up using one of the bins for my husband's hats. So that way things were separated a little bit and it was just easier for us to find what we're looking for. The reason why I kept the gloves bin out is because some of those gloves are for working outdoors or for doing things that you want to protect your hands. They're not all winter gloves, so I did keep that bin out even though the winter season is over. You guys know I love a good lazy Susan for a small space, and I've had this one in our entryway for a while. I wanted to go through it and just make sure that the sunscreens were all good and up to date and there was nothing that was empty or expired or anything. And then I went ahead and put it back in the closet. At first I was going to put it up high, but then I decided that I wanted it to be kind of at eye level so we could easily grab things from it when we need them instead of having to reach up high. This was really funny to me because I forgot I had this bin up there in the closet. I really couldn't see it because there was just so much stuff, but inside of it was my old purse from when I used to work a 9-to-5 job, and I haven't touched this bag one time since my last day of working at that company. So to go through everything and find all the things that were kept in my bag and I used to use on a daily basis, it felt like I was looking into the life of someone else entirely. It's been so long since I've worked in an office, so it was kind of nostalgic and just interesting to go through this bag. But that being said, I haven't touched any of this stuff or needed any of this stuff in years. So I did go through it just to make sure there wasn't anything like super sentimental or valuable in there. But for the most part, everything else I was able to get rid of, because since I haven't needed it for so long, I'm definitely not going to need it anytime in the future. I don't carry a purse anymore ever. I have my Lululemon belt bag that I bring with me when I'm going out with the kids. I also have a diaper bag backpack that I bring sometimes, but I'm just not a purse person anymore. So you guys will have to let me know, is there still a market for this kind of stuff? Could I sell this Michael Kors bag, or has everybody kind of moved on from carrying a bag? So what we ended up doing with this organizer was I held it up while my husband screwed in some screws into the door, and he also used a washer to kind of block them so that it's not going to fall off of the screws, if that makes sense. But this worked great, and the door was able to close after this, so we were able to use this. I really, really like this organizer, other than the fact that it didn't work the way that it was intended to. It's really nice because it's large, it's got a lot of different compartments, and you can store things in here other than shoes. So you'll see here that I'm putting away mostly shoes into this organizer, but I ended up with so many empty spaces that I could use for other things. Obviously, I'm not intentionally trying to fill up every single space of my home, but it's just good to know that we have this space here, and all of the shoes were able to fit into the closet, and they're not all over my house anymore like they were before. So some of these compartments I used for things like, we have a cat harness and a leash that I had nowhere else to put, and then our masks in case we need them at some point instead of keeping them in that bin. I also stored like my son's goggles for when we take him to the pool. So it was just really nice to have a place to put those things, because otherwise we really don't have a space in our home for them. We also recently hung up this shelf, which you can see to the left of the door, and that's a shelf that my dad and I built together in 2020, and I really like to have that by the door because sometimes it's just easier to walk over and hang a sweatshirt or a jacket, something that we're grabbing every single day, from a hook than it is to grab a coat hanger and get it hung up into the closet. And I was finding that we were kind of using our dining room table as a closet because we were too lazy to go put them into the closet, so it's just much easier sometimes to use those hooks, and we've definitely found it to be helpful for us on keeping down the clutter on the table. But now I wanted to do another vacuum because obviously taking all the shoes out of the closet, there was dirt and stuff on them, so my floors were kind of messy, and just wanted to quickly clean them up, and then I will show you guys the super satisfying before and after. So one more time to remind you of what this situation was looking like before. We just did not have enough space for all of our shoes and our jackets. Things were overflowing in the closet. It was becoming impossible to find anything, and we were also having a tendency to put things on our dining room table that really did belong in this closet. So again, just a reminder of what we started with, and now I'm going to show the after. Things are looking so much better. We have a space for everything. The things that we may need as we're running out the door are right there, available to us, easy to see. And the best part is it's all cleaned out and ready for the spring season. I just love a fresh start in the spring. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and it gave you some inspiration or some ideas for some spring cleaning and organizing in your home. I post new organization videos every single week here on my channel, so if you are new here, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and come back every single Wednesday for another video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week.
I'm not yours, so why you trying to hold on when I'm not there for you? Wanna take a different lane, wanna play my own game, and I don't need you there.
Alright guys, we are back with another small kitchen organization video, and this week we are focusing on the Dollar Tree. I'm so excited for this video because I've actually never done a Dollar Tree organization on my channel. You guys know I love Amazon, I love Target, I love the Container Store, but that's not in everybody's budgets. So I'm excited to bring you something a little bit different. I had to think more outside the box for this video, get a little bit creative because they just don't have the same selection you would find at the other stores. So I hope you guys are excited. I hope you enjoy this video. If you enjoy small kitchen organization videos or just organization videos in general, be sure to subscribe to my channel because I post a new one every single week, and let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, so these are all the things that I picked up at my Dollar Tree. I had no idea that they sold craft wood and wood pieces like this, so I'm really excited to do some DIYs with those. And then I also picked up some glass containers. I got these mop and broom holders, which we're gonna try a couple of different things with, and then I picked up some napkin holders, which I think I have an idea for. I've got some cute little containers, a bunch of different sized bins. This is meant to be a wall mount wire rack, but I have an idea for that as well. These items right here actually came from Lowe's, and that's because my Dollar Tree did not have them in stock, but these look identical to the ones that are available at Dollar Tree. So if you guys have those, be sure to pick them up because for some reason they weren't at mine. So I don't know if they're maybe like a hot commodity and that's why they were sold out. But anyway, I had to pay more to get them at Lowe's, but they look pretty much exactly the same. So we're just gonna pretend that those are from Dollar Tree as well. And then these I got from Michael's. I just needed some more hot glue for some of the things we're going to be doing today. These wooden dowels I may not end up using, but I got them just in case. And then this is actually just a piece of wood we use to keep our sliding door closed, but I have an idea for that as well. So again, this is just an overview of everything we're going to be using today to organize. I have shown you guys so many different under the sink organization ideas in the past, and my current system, which you can see here, is actually working really well for me, but I wanted to give you guys some ideas from the Dollar Tree. So I thought that what I would do is take apart everything I have under there and reorganize it using only things from the Dollar Tree. So we're starting off strong here with something that did not really work out for me, and that's not because the idea doesn't work, it's because I just didn't have everything that I needed. So these are mop and broom holders from the Dollar Tree. I first tried to cut them with scissors and it wasn't working, so I pulled out a razor, I scored them, and I cut them in half. So I had two separate pieces, and my idea was to stick them up underneath my kitchen sink and then put a wooden dowel between them so that I could hang my cleaning products. But my wooden dowel was just too big, so I couldn't properly demo this for you guys, but I think this could work out really well if you have the proper size wooden dowel, which I just did not. Moving on, we're going to use this shelf riser, which again, this one is from Lowe's, but it's identical to the one that is available on Dollar Tree. And I love shelf risers. I use them all the time, and I like to use them because they help to utilize vertical space, which you guys hear me say all the time. And I'm just sticking another bin from the Dollar Tree on top of that. It's not necessary to do this, but I just like to do that when I'm sticking cleaning products together, so that way if I'm looking for something, I can just pull the whole bin out instead of having to dig around and potentially knock things over. But then I'm also grabbing this glass jar from the Dollar Tree and I'm filling this up with my dishwasher tablets. And for the bottom part of the shelf riser, I am putting my extra sponges, scrub daddies, magic erasers, the pink stuff, a brush, things like that, and that will fit perfectly underneath the shelf riser. And again, this bin on top is not necessary, but I just like it because I feel like I'm more likely to knock things over when I'm digging around for something than I am if I'm picking up a whole bin, grabbing what I need, and then putting it back. But now I'm going to show you my idea for this step shelf. I love using step shelves like this in my kitchen, and my idea for this was to put 3 bins on it and have 3 separate tiers for things to go underneath your sink. And I figured you could hot glue them to the step shelf and then they won't go anywhere. But I didn't want to hot glue mine, so I'm showing you guys that you can put 3 right here if you really wanted to and hot glue them to keep them in place. But I ended up just doing 2 tiers and that worked out perfectly fine for me. And again, adding bins like these on top is not necessary. I just prefer it because I feel like it's easier to grab a bin. Like I said, also it adds just a little bit extra support for the things that you're putting onto this wire shelf because they could just fall through if they're not standing up perfectly, and these bins just help prevent that. This whole under the sink organization would cost you $8.75 to use all the products that I'm showing you guys here, and I think it turned out really, really nice, and it's utilizing the vertical space under your sink, and it was done on a budget. You guys know I love using the inside of cabinet doors in my organization videos, so I wanted to show you just an example with a wooden dowel and those 2 mop and broom holders. You could also stick them on the inside of your cabinet door, and you can hang your cleaning supplies this way. So also this is a better visual of what I was trying to do at the top of my kitchen sink, but it just didn't work out. We're just going to pretend that that bin is not there underneath them. I didn't want to take it off since I'm not planning to leave it like this. I like the system I'm currently using. I found this wire rack with hooks in like the tools section of Dollar Tree, so I think it's meant for, I don't know, a garage, organizing tools, or maybe you can hang your keys on it by your front door. But my idea for this was to, again, put this on the inside of a cabinet door, and I'm using command hooks to install mine because I don't want to drill into my cabinets. But it does come with hardware, so if you'd prefer to install it that way, you can do that as well. But I like this for the inside of cabinet doors. In this case, I'm hanging some of my cleaning supplies, like cleaning brushes and things like that from it, and this would be another option for inside of the cabinet door under your sink. I think this would work out really well. And then another idea I had thought of for this was to put it on the back wall of your kitchen, like on your backsplash. So again, I'm using command hooks to hang it up, and I'm putting some of my cooking utensils here, things that I grab all the time when I'm cooking. And this would be helpful to get things off of your countertop and just save you a little bit of counter space if you are working with a very small kitchen. I also thought that you could hang your measuring cups and spoons from this as well, so I wanted to share that example. I love the idea of hanging baskets in your kitchen, so this bin from the Dollar Tree is perfect for that. It's a really good size. If it were me, I'd probably put 2, one on top of the other, just for additional space, but you could store anything that you want in this. In this case, I showed you putting spices in it, but you could put your cooking utensils in here instead of hanging them from those other hooks. There's just so many different things you could do with a bin hanging in your kitchen if you are lacking cabinet space. I tried to not watch anybody else's Dollar Tree organization videos before I went to the store. I wanted to go in there with a blank slate and just find things on my own, but I have seen this DIY before. So full disclosure, I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. I've seen it before and I think it's really cute. It's also really easy and it was just kind of fun to do. So for this one, you'll need a hot glue gun, and then you'll need these wooden crates that they sell at Dollar Tree along with 2 pieces of their craft wood. It is pretty self-explanatory how to do this if you're watching the video. So you're just going to kind of angle your bin down so that will create some support, and then you're going to do as many tiers as you want. In this case, I did 3 tiers, and I love doing things like this that are multiple tiers because that helps, again, to use that vertical space. You could also use hardware to build this if you wanted to, but I just use a hot glue gun and mine has been holding up perfectly fine. And I prefer the natural wood look, but if you like to paint things or if you like to stain things, you could do that with this. I've seen plenty of people do that and it turned out great and adorable. I think it looks good as is. But I'm sticking, again, my spices in here just as an example. But I also thought while I was doing this that this would be awesome in your bathroom. So I'm going to show you guys that example in a minute as well. If you have like a lot of serums or you need to get your toothpaste off the counter or you just have a lot of items in your bathroom and you don't have a lot of storage space, this would be perfect for that. So it's great for the kitchen, it's great for the bathroom, and it will only cost you $6.25 to make, assuming you have a hot glue gun or hardware already ready to go. Kind of piggybacking off of that last DIY, I saw they had some hanging wood pieces and I felt like I could use those to create something you could hang in your kitchen, whether you use it in your pantry or you could hang it on that back kitchen wall similar to the basket, and you could add some additional storage space. So I'm just hot gluing on 2 of the longer, wider bins onto this, and my example that I showed you was putting some pantry items on there, but you could really store whatever you want in here, assuming that it's not too heavy that it will break it. But I really liked this idea and I feel like you could get pretty creative with this one as well. I would love for you guys to leave a comment down below letting me know what is your all-time favorite Dollar Tree hack. Like I said, I don't go to Dollar Tree very often, so I would love for you to let me know what are your favorite items from Dollar Tree or what are your favorite DIYs you've seen from Dollar Tree, and maybe I will include them in a future video.
So these bins come in a bunch of different sizes, and I really like these because they're grippy on the bottom, so they're non-slip, and then they also have grip on the inside. So for $1.25, this is a really, really good deal. I like these bins a lot, and I'm going to try to assemble them in this drawer to section the drawer out to organize like different cooking utensils and things like that.
This kind of took me a minute to figure out which way I wanted to put the bins into this drawer, just which way they would fit best. It's kind of a struggle, but I like these bins because, again, they have the grips on the bottoms, so even if they're not perfectly in your drawer taking up all of the space, they will not move around. But I decided to add a couple of other bins as well that I had that would fit in there just to fill the space out a little bit better. I think of all the items that I bought at the Dollar Tree, these bins are probably the best quality. They're just so sturdy. Again, I love that they have the grips on the bottoms and on the insides. So if you are looking for bins like these, I would definitely recommend these over anything you buy on Amazon.
Something else that I've kind of seen floating around with Dollar Tree organization is to take one of these step shelves and you break off the legs and then you can put it in your drawer upside down. Mine obviously won't close because I did not break the legs off, but you can put it in upside down and then you can use it to organize spices. So you can see them all laying flat, and you'd have multiple tiers. So I think this is a really good idea. I'm not going to break the legs off of my step shelf, but in case you guys needed a drawer idea for your spices to organize them, this is a good one, and this would fit quite a few. You can even put some on the front. I didn't, but you can put some on the front as well. And if I did break the legs off, I would still be able to close my drawer. But I feel like they make products just like this that they sell on Amazon that's meant to go in your drawer and organize your spices in this way, but they're much more pricey. So this is a great cost savings if you're looking for something like that. I have something very, very similar to the step shelf, but mine just isn't wire, and I think I got this from Home Goods, and I organized all these spices in a kitchen organization video a while ago. If I can find that one, I will link it in the cards right here, but you can use this for the exact same thing, and it's just a really good way to utilize your space in your pantry or in your countertop if that's where you prefer to store your spices. You can see them better this way and nothing gets lost. You don't have to dig around, and you also don't need to have special containers in order to use something like this. You can just use whatever containers your spices came in, and they're totally fine that way. They don't need to all match in order to fit onto the spice rack. So this obviously is a lot cheaper than the one that I have, so $1.25 for this is a really good price, especially considering you can use it a multitude of ways. You can use it to organize spices, you can use it to organize vitamins, you can use it to just organize cans in your pantry, really anything. I've also used mine in the past in my husband's like protein cabinet to organize some of his things, so this is a very versatile product for only $1.25.
This next idea is to take the napkin holders at the Dollar Tree, and you can either zip tie them together really tightly or you can hot glue them. I'm hot gluing mine in this case. I only bought 2 of them to show you this example, but this would work best if you bought a bunch of them and kind of line them up. So the thing that I'm going to show you using these for is either your pots and pan lids. This would be a good way to store those so they're stored vertically and you can grab them easily. And then the other thing that I thought of was if you needed storage for things like bakeware. So I'm putting my wire racks in there and then a muffin tin. And I have bought organizers like this in the past and they were pretty pricey. So for $1.25 for each napkin holder, this is definitely a good deal.
That I have completely torn apart my kitchen for this video, we are all done. These are all the organization ideas I was able to come up with all the things I was able to find at my Dollar Tree. Again, my Dollar Tree is kind of a limited selection. It's kind of small. I don't really have a good Dollar Tree anywhere around me, so I made the best out of what I was able to find, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some ideas. I think my personal favorite of all these ideas was this 3-tiered shelf. I think it's so adorable. I like mine just natural, but you could paint this, you could stain it, you could do a bunch of different things with this. It's really versatile. You can use it all over your house. My son actually already claimed this one because he wants to organize his football cards in it. So I think it's actually the perfect size for that. So he's going to be really excited when he gets home from school that he can have it now that I'm all set. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are new to my channel and you enjoy organization videos, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and turn your notification bells on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I do upload a new video every single Wednesday, so make sure you check back here on Wednesdays if you're looking for some new ideas. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another video.
Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today we are doing a big, huge, massive declutter in my son's room. I'm sharing some tips to declutter, some ideas for helping to manage the chaos moving forward. You guys have seen me do several declutters in this space. He's just growing and changing so much constantly, so it really is a constant work in progress. But I will link the other videos we've done in here down below, so if you're looking to see all of the decluttering over time, it has been quite a journey. Today's declutter was because I was finding that his room was getting really messy just all the time, and usually that tells me that there's just too much stuff and things that don't have a place to go. So we're going through everything today. You guys will see the huge pile of items that we were able to declutter at the end, so definitely stay tuned for that. But the first thing that I did was make his bed and then start to gather laundry. Some of it was clean and needed to be folded, and some of it was dirty, so I just separated all of that out and then got to work folding and sorting. As we approach another new season, I always like to go through my kids' clothes and determine what fits them and what doesn't. doesn't, then I have an inventory of what we have and I can make a list of what we are going to need. So as I fold his laundry, I'm being mindful of what no longer fits him, or maybe what's just no good any longer with holes or obvious damage, and setting those things aside.
You were my best friend, didn't care about the rules, good on the weekends. I'll be in fools, drifting to deep space, so brave and so stupid, just like.
If you are new to my channel, I figured that I would introduce myself. I'm a mom of 2 little boys. One is 6 and the other is almost 19 months old. I've been on YouTube for several years. I love sharing cleaning motivation as well as decluttering motivation and organization ideas. I started my channel when I was working a full-time job outside of the home, and it's grown over the years, so now I'm able to work from home and be with my kids all the time. It's truly the best, and it's not lost on me how incredible it is, and I'm so grateful to be here. If you enjoy homemaking videos, organization videos, things like that, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. Also, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you're new here and tell me a little bit about yourself. I would love to chat in the comments. Now we're working on putting everything away into his drawers, and again, I'm being mindful of what's in them and taking out anything along the way that won't fit him for the next season. We do have a baby as well, and he's just about 19 months old, so I do try to save what I can for him from our oldest wardrobe. If it's been chewed up or has holes or big stains, I will not keep that for the baby, but if it's in good condition, I will set that aside, and we have bins in our basement with all of our kids' clothes organized by size and ready to go. This is just crazy. So not a single one of these socks matches, not a single one. And then these socks are not even Carson's. So I don't know why they were in his laundry basket. But like, what the heck? Who is taking all of our socks? So I am going to store all of these things away for when Sutton gets bigger. These are still in pretty good shape and they just don't fit Carson anymore. And then I have a laundry basket going of everything that I'm going to be getting rid of. So these are things that really aren't donatable. They have huge holes in the knees. This one has like a huge hole in the crotch. And then we've got these ones that Carson chewed really badly. Like he must have been bored in school or something. And the hem is like destroyed on the neck. So that's no good. And then same with this one. I think this one was like all chewed up. So those things I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of because they're not donatable and they don't fit Carson anymore. Next, I am tidying up his room, and while I'm doing that, I'm going through all of his bins that he has just kind of laying around to make sure I'm not keeping something that he doesn't need any longer. This bin in particular had a lot of stuff that he's not using and is just taking up space. So, you know, like dollar store toys they make you buy and they play with once and never touch again, random pieces of paper, and a few toys that just belonged in our basement playroom. I really like this bin, but I felt like by keeping it in his room, I was inviting the clutter to collect. So I ultimately decided to declutter this fabric bin altogether, along with most of the items that were in it.
Try to figure out who I am. Not sure what I'm doing here, and the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood. Never found somewhere I fit in.
Carson is a box hoarder a little bit. When we get Amazon packages, he always takes the boxes and brings them into his room, and I always have to go in there and break them down to recycle. I'm not sure what his fascination is with the boxes, but they make his room look super messy and cluttered, so they have got to go.
Sometimes
His bookcase was looking a little bit disheveled, so I went ahead and sorted through some of the shelves. For the most part, his books are separated into categories, and he's done a really good job of keeping it that way. But he recently was given a bunch of like sports books and magazines and things for his birthday, and we didn't have a proper category for that. So I decided to make one for him, and also a place he could store some of his sports card binders instead of leaving them on the floor.
I'm trying my best to hold on. It's not easy, but I'm feeling stronger with you. And the days don't work out the way I thought they would. And before you there was no one who understood.
Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like you're the one who saves me when I try.
The next thing that I'm decluttering is the surfaces around his room, so the top of his bookshelf and then also his dresser. We are all guilty of putting things down on a flat surface, otherwise known as a catch-all, and he's no different even at 6 years old. So I really wanted to tackle this and try to come up with a solution to keep it from happening going forward.
I'll give you my everything. It's not much, but it's all I have.
You know we could run to a place where we belong, but I need you there with me to go on. Sometimes I can't see, but it feels like you're the one who saves me when I try but don't succeed. Yeah, it feels like you're the one who saves
I got these metal containers from the Hearth and Hand line at Target. I thought these were such a nice color and they look so cute for a boy's room. I got 2 different sizes so I could stack them, and my idea for these is to help give the miscellaneous small items on his dresser a place to go back to. I also picked up another kind of decorative fabric bin at Target, and this I wanted to do the same thing with. If you have a bunch of like small loose items that you don't want to get rid of but they just don't have a proper place to go, decorative bins is where it's at. Instead of the clutter just being spread all over the surface, you can consolidate it into a decorative bin. It will look nice and have tons of function. Ever since getting these for Carson, it has been so much easier to maintain his room, and he knows where those little miscellaneous items are supposed to go.
Can't find a time where I can tell ya what I feel now. Been biting my tongue for a while. The words just wanna come.
Now, most of this was junk, and this is all the stuff that I had taken off of the surfaces in his room so I could kind of organize those the way that I wanted to, and now I'm just going through all of the excess. And like I said, a lot of this was junk. Some of it was not. Some of it was birthday gifts that I just hadn't found a place for yet in his room, so I went ahead and did that. But the majority of this we were able to just get rid of. I know decluttering can be a really almost like emotional journey. It can be kind of difficult, but I have gotten really good over the years, honestly, of separating my emotions from all of the items, and I have a much easier time now decluttering things. But if you have something that is really special to you and you're not ready to let it go, then don't. But if you are thinking that you're ready to let it go, something that I do is I will take a picture of it and then That way I at least have some way to remember it, but it's not just taking up space in my life that it doesn't need to.
I'm not the kind of person who is sentimental, but this thing is making me soft.
Carson has a piggy bank, but I found that he kind of wants to see his money, so I gave him this clear jar that was just from the dollar store for his money so he could see it in there instead of it being like stuffed away in a dark piggy bank, and so far that's worked out really well. His birthday had just passed when I was filming this video, so he had a ton of birthday gifts that just didn't have a place to go yet. So some of these belonged outside, actually most of them belonged outside, so I just grabbed them from his room and took them into the kitchen so that we could actually assemble them and start using them outside and not just leave them in the boxes. We are in kind of the home stretch here with our decluttering, so I'm just going through the last of everything that was put on Carson's bed. Something that I like to do when I am decluttering is take everything out of a space, go through it a little bit, and then just start putting things back. And I find that whatever's left behind at the end are usually the items that we no longer need because they just didn't have a place and I didn't prioritize them when I was putting things away. So they kind of declutter themselves in a way, if that makes sense.
Something I can never be without, yeah. I'm in your command. Thought I was a man of my own will. It's been 2 years. I'm only a shadow of the good on me now. A breeze in my ear, 'cause you know I cannot say no to you. Feeling like home, but should it be like this? Locked up in your dome.
And now that the floors are all picked up and there's not stuff all over his room, I of course wanted to go around and vacuum.
When you started it, why under a spell? I really wonder how did it come to this?
I'm also going to quickly wipe down his windows since I had removed a couple of his like sticky things, seasonal sticky, I don't know what they're called, from the windows. So I just wanted to wipe that down, and then I'm going to start his diffuser so his room will smell nice.
But should it be like this? I'm loving the heat. I think I'm losing it. What do I?
His room is looking so much better. I really like these like decorative bins on here. I feel like this is going to help with the clutter that accumulates and having somewhere to put it and still having it look somewhat nice. So I think this is gonna work out. I guess we'll see how it goes. You just never know with a 6-year-old, but this is looking so much better. So we've still got his art card out for him. We've got all the things that he wants on his dresser, minus all the trash, in a way that still looks kind of nice. I've got the oils going, so his room smells nice. This blend is called Kid Power, and it's like a specially made one for kids, and it smells really nice. It kind of smells like Fruity Pebbles or like Fruit Loops to me, so his room will smell nice when he gets home today. And then his bed is made. He just got that pillow for his birthday from my mom, and he loves it. So with the sports theme still, but his books are, like his bookshelf is at least organized. I've got all of the cards that he throws all over his room.
in like its own cubby in the bookshelf, and hopefully it stays that way. This picture I keep trying to take down and then he hangs it back up. It's like just something he painted probably like the first week of school, and it obviously like doesn't go with anything in here, but he insists on having it up and he just keeps putting it back up. So it's a battle that is not worth fighting, and this is his room, so if he really wants it up there, then that's fine with me. And then over here we recently got him this holder for like all of his special sports cards. So I believe these are all Tom Brady. As I'm looking at them, I'm pretty sure they are. He really loves Tom Brady, so he's got a bunch of those cards. And then this was a decoration from his birthday party that he insisted on having hung up in his room. But overall, it's so much less cluttered in here. I definitely need to do some shopping for him, which like twist my arm, right? Just an excuse to go buy him some new stuff because his drawers are so empty. He's outgrown like everything. I feel like he's gone through a major growth spurt recently, so definitely gonna have to get him some new stuff or he's gonna have nothing to wear. But this is everything that I'm decluttering out of his room, like the baby and that Buzz Lightyear just being moved elsewhere, but everything else I'm getting rid of. These books though I'm gonna put in Sutton's room, but it's a big pile of stuff that just does not have a place in our house, and it's just taking up space and making his room look cluttered, so I'm glad to say goodbye to it. That is all for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and hopefully it gave you some motivation to clean or declutter somewhere in your home. Carson is going to be really happy to see his room all cleaned up. I am going to go take all of that stuff out, get it out of my house. While I'm thinking about it, if I leave it in the hallway, it will stay there for like at least a week. So I need to take care of it right away, and then this project will be all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any decluttering to do, hopefully it motivated you to get that done. I feel like I still always have a lot of decluttering to do no matter how much I try to stay on top of it. So I feel like there's going to be more decluttering videos coming up soon. So if you do enjoy these, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, all the things. Make sure that you hit that notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you guys as always for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another video. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. We are just going to jump right in today because this video is just jam-packed with different types of motivation. We're doing all sorts of different things today around my house. First of all, we are cleaning and decluttering in my bedroom. We're also going to be doing some small bathroom organization. We're cleaning the bathroom, and we are going to be cleaning my car, which was absolutely disgusting. I don't know that I've ever cleaned my car on YouTube before. If I have, it's been so long that I just don't even remember it now, but I think I need to make it a regular thing because my car was just awful, and you guys will see. I'm actually kind of embarrassed to show it on the internet, but anyway, we are starting off in my bedroom. The first thing that I'm doing is just picking things up around the room, decluttering all of the surfaces, and getting everything wiped down.
Always takes too long, yeah, too long. I ain't got all weekend. We had a good run, yeah, good run, but the clock is ticking. I gotta move on, yeah, move on. I got things to do.
Our bedroom is very small. We've talked about this a million times here on my channel. Our house is small, our bedroom is small, and it just can look really messy really quickly if I don't stay on top of it. I feel like if there's one thing out, the room instantly looks messy. And for whatever reason, I always feel like our bedroom is the last priority when I'm cleaning. I always clean our kids' rooms first or the bathroom first, since we only have one, and that is definitely a top priority for me to make sure that's always clean. So our room just really gets left behind a lot of the time. So when I do have to come in here and clean, it's usually a huge disaster.
I just wanna move on with my life. I've loved you for a while, and that's the way I like it.
One of the biggest things that we struggle with is cords. I feel like we have so many different cords, so many different things plugged in all the time, and they always look so unruly, and they make it difficult too for me to clean. So for example, when I come in here to vacuum, it's really hard for me to get around all the cords that are laying on the ground. So I wanted to try and organize those a little bit and just make them look a little better and get them up off the floor. So after I finish kind of vacuuming around here, I will show you guys an idea that I have for organizing cords. I got these from Temu and I shared a haul in my last video, so I'll have that linked in the cards right here in case you missed that, because I got some pretty interesting stuff. But these were the two options that I was thinking of trying for the cords. They were both adhesive. I ended up going with the bigger one because I felt like it would be just easier in this situation, and I wanted to wrap one of his cords, my husband's cords, around that organizer to just get it up off the floor, because that is the one that was kind of the main issue.
All these butterflies gotta go. I just gotta be on my own.
This cord organizer in particular is so cool because you can stick it on the back of just about anything and wrap your cords up and get them out of the way. So a big thing that comes to mind for me is if you keep appliances out on your countertops, this would be a good way to kind of conceal those. But now I am just continuing on vacuuming, getting under all of our furniture, just making sure we don't have any dust bunnies laying around. And now I'm going to clean off our other dresser.
Guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, 'cause I got no chance, no chance.
To finish up in our room, I'm just going to clear off my nightstand, get that put back together and wiped down, and then I'm also going to vacuum the floors.
Lie, Elaine made you crazy, crazy, yeah, yeah. You don't care what's real no more, no, you don't want me anymore. You only want what you can afford. This is goodbye, bye, bye.
Now we're moving on to the bathroom, and I say this in every single video when I clean the bathroom, but we only have one. We have to share this among our whole family, and it just becomes a mess so fast. It also has like horrible ventilation, and it just is humid, and I feel like sticky, and we just really struggle with this space. So I like to make sure that every single day at some point I get in there and I tidy everything up and I get everything wiped down. In this case, I am using just some disinfectant wipes to clean the bathroom, but I kind of go back and forth between what I use. Sometimes I use disinfectant wipes. Sometimes I like to use my Power Paste, which is by the Scrub Daddy brand. And then other times I just like to use a plain old bathroom spray. It just kind of depends on the day.
Elaine made you crazy, crazy, yeah, yeah. You don't care what's real no more, no, you don't want me anymore.
Dust tends to collect on top of this cabinet here, so I wanted to take everything off of it and make sure that I got it wiped down. And I also had to fix the shower curtain because one of the shower curtain rings fell out.
You don't care what's real no more, no, you don't want me anymore. You only want what you can afford. Don't I make you feel something, or maybe you can't feel anything. She's not gonna give
Now we're going to clean the toilet, of course, and I'm actually going to use something new that I got also from Temu. Again, I shared like a Temu haul last week, and I'm just trying out some of the things that I got from there, and I figured I would give some of my opinions in this video now that I've had some time to use some of the different things. But the item that I'm using right here to clean the toilet after I wipe it all down, it's a brush that is kind of stiff. It has a stiff side, it has a softer side, and it's meant to clean like the crevice between your toilet and the floor. And I actually really liked this. I found that it worked well, and of all the things that I got from Temu, this was one of the better items. I liked that it had a really stiff side because that worked so well in the grout around the toilet. If I had more time to dedicate to cleaning the grout, I would have gone around the whole bathroom with this. I just didn't have that kind of time on this day, but I just wanted to throw it out there that that is another really good way to use it.
get it right. Trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch?
Now we're going to organize our Q-tips, which is kind of random, but this is just something that I've needed to do for a little bit. That glass jar was not really working out the way that I wanted it to, so I am just using this Q-tip organizer that, again, I got from Temu. Very, very inexpensive, and it's super lightweight, so you have to be careful. I could see this being knocked over and making a mess at some point, but it does look pretty nice and it functions well. So the next thing that we're going to do is kind of declutter this cabinet a little bit. I had a lot of feminine hygiene products that really needed to be restocked and just ready to go for the next time that I need them. And there was a lot of excess packaging back there, so I'm just taking care of that really quickly. And then we're going to try out a couple of other things. Again, I got from Temu, and these things actually did not work out so well, and I'll talk about that as we get into it. I really like the garbage bag organizer that's on my left side here, but these are little containers that are adhesive and they open up, as you can see, so you can stick some things in them to organize. I wanted to use them for like my hair elastics and stuff, so I actually bought 2 of these, and the second one was cracked, which you can see on the screen right there kind of quickly. So I ended up only using 1 of them, and this did not last for probably more than like 2 days before it fell off. And I had heard that the adhesive was super strong on Temu products to the point where it was difficult to remove and it could damage the surfaces. So far, that's not been my experience. Everything that I've tried, other than that garbage bag holder, has not stuck on particularly well. So I'll probably try to use a command strip to make this work, because I really like the idea of it. It just didn't last, unfortunately. But that garbage bag holder, I do really like that. I've had that up for a couple of weeks now and it's not fallen down, and it's just really convenient to store all of our bathroom trash bags in a place that they're easy to grab and they're out of the way. Now we are really quickly going to work on cleaning the tub. So first, I'm just spraying some Clorox bathroom spray all around the tub so that I can really disinfect it and just get it as clean as possible. But I never find that anything removes stains in the tub the same way that a magic eraser does. So I knew I wanted to go in with a magic eraser, but I also had magic erasers that I purchased from Temu that were extremely inexpensive. Cannot remember the price off the top of my head right now, but they were very, very cheap, and I wanted to see if they worked as well as the brand name that you would find at a regular store. So we're going to test that out together and see how they perform. Now I'm just rinsing out the shower. I love having the removable shower heads that I can rinse out when I'm cleaning the shower. It's just so convenient. And then we're going to try out these magic eraser copycats that I got from Temu. And I will say that I did not notice a difference at all between this magic eraser and the ones that you would find at like Target or Walmart. I think it worked just as well, if I'm being honest. I'm going to test it out on a couple of other surfaces, but so far, at least in the bathtub, they worked great. Now I'm going to just quickly use my Swiffer wet jet to clean the bathroom floors. So here I am really exposing myself here by showing you guys how my car looks. So this was filmed on a different day, but I wanted to include it in this video. It was a complete disaster. My car was absolutely disgusting. I have 2 little kids, and I feel like the biggest struggle for me is that when we get out of the car, I don't have enough hands to grab everything, and then I don't always have the capability to get back outside to go grab things and bring them in. So a ton of trash just tends to accumulate. Also, the kids will eat snacks in the car and it gets all up in their car seats and on the floors. Carson had dropped like a whole entire bag of pretzels on his side of the car. So it was just looking a huge mess and needed to be dealt with. And the sad part is, it's not like it's been that long since the last time that I cleaned my car. It just becomes disgusting so fast. So the first thing that I did was gather trash. I had some trash bags that I actually keep in my car with the intention of using them and not letting trash accumulate, but it still does. So I opened up a trash bag, started getting all the trash out, and then I also had a laundry basket that I was filling with all of the things that I needed to bring inside the house so I could sort them, and they were just cluttering up my car and didn't belong in there. I want to make sure that I add that I'm not a professional. I don't know how to detail a car. I'm just a mom trying to clean my car out as best as I can. I would love to get my car professionally detailed. I don't know much about the process or how expensive it is, but I definitely need to look into it because my car, even after I cleaned it, still could have used some work. I have never taken the mats out of my car to properly clean them as long as I've had it. I haven't had my car honestly that long. I want to say it's been like a year-ish, but I wanted to take those out. I just felt like the pretzel situation just called for this. I just had to take the mats completely out, but now I'm working on vacuuming and I don't have a vacuum that really works all that great in the car. I feel like crumbs and things really stick in there and they're hard to vacuum up. Like whatever this material is in your car, it's tricky. And even like the vacuums at the gas stations and stuff like that, I never feel like they do that great of a job. So again, I feel like I need to get a professional detailing done because my vacuum is great. My vacuum is powerful, but it just was not cutting it in my car. And I've tried actually several different vacuums in my car and I've found they all kind of work the same. It just is tricky. So I'm doing the best that I can, just getting as much of the loose crumbs and everything out as possible. But again, it's not going to be perfect. I also could not find the attachment that I wanted to use when I was doing this. So I was doing this with no attachments on my vacuum, which is not ideal. I really believe that the state of your car is a pretty accurate representation for how you are doing mentally. And in this case, it was spot on. I feel like my brain has been so cluttered lately, so it only made sense that my car was absolutely atrocious. Now that the car is emptied out and I've done some vacuuming, I'm going to wipe everything down. And to do this, I'm just using an e-cloth, which is just a plain old microfiber cloth. It's got like special technology, so it works better than a typical microfiber cloth. But I'm not using any special cleaners. It's just water because again, I'm not a professional. I don't know what you're supposed to use. I don't want to damage any of the materials inside of my car. So to be safe, I'm just using my e-cloth. And honestly, this worked really well. I have heard in the past that brands like Armor All are actually not good for your car. I honestly don't know much information about that. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but that's what I've heard. And I've actually found in my experience that the products I've used in the past have kind of made everything look a little bit streaky. So I wanted to avoid using that, just use the e-cloth, but you guys will have to let me know in the comments what you use to clean your car and if you have any recommendations. Probably the most difficult part of cleaning my car on this day was that there was a Baby Bell cheese wrapper that was stuck in one of the doors. And you know, those like red wrappers that go around the Baby Bell cheeses, I don't know what they're made out of, but it melted into the door handle area and it was so hard to clean it out. When it comes to cleaning car seats, this is another thing that I am not at all claiming to be a professional at doing. You should definitely do your own research and just be careful. I know that you're not supposed to get the straps fully wet. You're not supposed to take them out and clean it with like a hose or anything like that. It can damage them and make them unsafe in the event that you get into a car accident. Again, I don't know much about it. I'm just telling you what I know. So I'm just using this e-cloth to wipe down the fabric a little bit. It was not soaking wet at this point. It was honestly almost dry, but I'm just using it to get all the little stains out, and I'm not doing anything crazy or getting the car seat completely wet. I wanted to power wash all of the mats that were in my car, but I don't know how to set up the power washer by myself, so I did not do that. I just brought them inside and stuck them in the bathtub, sprayed them with some Dawn power wash, used a sponge to scrub them all down as best as I could, and then I just rinsed them all off and brought them outside to dry them, and this worked perfectly fine. Honestly, I was expecting it to be a lot harder to clean these, but it felt like everything just kind of came right off as soon as the water started to hit it.
About you I like. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better. Nobody loves me better. I'm just too scared to settle down. There'd be many nights I got too high and almost left town. But there's something about you I like, about you I like.
Now I am drying off all the mats. Like I said, I brought them outside to dry them off as best as I could. It was really hard and tedious to dry these. There was just a lot of little crevices, so they weren't 100% dry when they went back into my car, but they were close enough and they looked so much better. It made such a huge difference when I put them back in. But that is it for this week's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and it gave you some motivation. Please do not say anything mean in the comments about how bad my car was. I'm just doing my best over here. But again, hope this gave you some motivation. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you will come back again next week for another video.
One of us gotta say the obvious. Nobody loves me better, yeah. I get too drunk and too scared and lie to you. If only you knew I would die for you. One of us gotta say the obvious.
Today I'm sharing some Dollar Tree hacks and organization ideas, different ways you can use Dollar Tree items, and some ideas to dress them up a little and make them look like modern pieces from high-end stores like Pottery Barn and the Container Store. If you enjoy videos like this one, be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like and leave a comment so I know to make more like this, and let's just get right into it. The first item that we're going to be focusing on is this Dollar Tree oven rack. I have done some research on what others are doing with this item, but I wanted to come up with something of my own. So we're actually going to try to create an organizer similar to this one that I saw on the Container Store website. For this, you just need one Dollar Tree oven rack and some craft beads. These craft beads I got from Michael's and they were $3.99 for the bag. They sell little cubes at the Dollar Tree that would give you a similar effect, but the reason why I went with these craft beads is because they already have a hole in the center, since I believe they're meant for stringing onto a bracelet or a necklace. But anyway, we're using these wire cutters to just cut off pieces of the oven rack. I was inspired by the Container Store hanger, but this is obviously not going to be an exact replica, so I just cut off the pieces that I wanted to, and I wasn't trying to make a perfect copy. I also cut some and bent them forward, similar to the one from the Container Store. Now I'm using my hot glue gun to hot glue on these craft beads on any sharp ends. These are what you will use to hold your items, so however many you want to use is totally up to you, but I kept mine pretty minimal. If you wanted to use those wooden craft cubes from the Dollar Tree instead of these round ones that I got from Michael's, I'm sure there's a way to do that, but it's definitely easier to have that hole there to stick onto these edges. I feel like it's more secure that way, and it was just easier to hot glue. So you would need to find a way to get a hole into those wooden cubes, and I just didn't want to hurt myself trying. To hang this up, I'm using command hooks. I know the Dollar Tree sells a similar product, but I like to use the brand name personally. I've heard from others that the Dollar Tree ones are notorious for ripping off paint, so just keep that in mind. Now, this oven rack is definitely not strong enough to hold up bath towels like the one from the Container Store, but it's really cute as a jewelry or hair accessory organizer. If you have a little girl with lots of hair clips, you could maybe clip them onto it and then use the pieces with the craft beads on them to hang up your hair ties and bows. This could also be nice in your office to hang pens or notes, or maybe get some S hooks to hang off of here, and you can organize a number of different office supplies on there. Again, it's not the most heavy duty item in the world, but there are multiple uses for it if you feel like getting a little bit creative. I have seen others use these oven racks to make little shelves, and I wanted to test that out for you guys as well. You can just bend these yourself pretty easily. However, mine was quite lopsided doing this way, so there has just got to be a better way to do it. But I also felt like they were going to snap if I bent them any harder. These are also not particularly sturdy after you've bent them. Again, they felt as if they were going to snap, and I personally wouldn't trust them with anything valuable or heavy. So I tested these out hanging it on those same command hooks, and I put a couple of folders on there to just see how that holds up, and it was not doing great. It was definitely sinking down a bit, so I would not probably use it this way. If you do want to use it on a flat surface, maybe on your counter to hold paperwork or your office to hold papers on your desk, that would work so much better. So I'm showing you that here. And I also thought this may be good for storing electronic devices, but again, it's not the most sturdy item in the world, so I wouldn't put anything too heavy, and I wouldn't hang it up this way. The next item that we're talking about is the napkin holder from the Dollar Tree. I saw a whole video on the channel, But First Coffee, so I wanted to just shout her out. She had some really wonderful ideas for napkin holders, but I wanted to share this one in particular. So we're making a little decorative shelf using the napkin holder. I'm using twine that I already had, and I think it came from Michael's at some point, but I know that the Dollar Tree does sell yarn, and I believe they sell twine as well. I just didn't see it at mine. But what I'm doing is I'm just wrapping it around this napkin holder. You could wrap this any way that you want. You could do just one solid color. You could do multiple colors. I thought doing like a rainbow would be so cute if you have a little kid. My sad beige heart really likes neutrals, so this is what I went with, and I think it turned out so adorable, and you could use this a number of different ways. I thought this would look really cute in a little kid's room or in a playroom as a ledge to hang books off of. So I'm just showing you that example here. If you made multiple of these and kind of staggered them on the wall, I think it would look so adorable with a bunch of books on there. Again, perfect for a kid's room or a playroom. And then another thing that I thought of was this just kind of dresses it up. So if you're putting this on your countertop to store your bills or something like that, it just looks nice out on the counter as opposed to just the bare napkin holder. But of course, you could just leave it that way as well. This would look good in your office. You could also use it in your pantry. It's like the perfect size to store like your aluminum foil, and in this case the parchment paper. Another thing I thought of is if you just use the bare napkin holder to store your nail polishes, they would fit really well in here, and it's just a good way to see all of the colors that you have. You could also organize your paint supplies in these. So these are my son's paints, and again, But First Coffee posted a whole video on so many ways you can use the napkin holder, so definitely check her out. But the next thing that we are talking about is this plastic tray that I found at the Dollar Tree. I thought this would be really cute as like a modern serving dish. So all I did was spray paint it black. I'm using just some matte black spray paint, and then I'm going to dress it up a little bit using those wooden cubes that I mentioned earlier that you can buy at the Dollar Tree. So I'm hot gluing mine together to create kind of like a handle, and I'm just going to put one on either side. These aren't going to look exactly perfect because the wooden cubes are all kind of a different color and a different size, but they're uniform enough that I was able to make it work, and I thought this ended up turning out so adorable. I really like the minimal kind of modern look, and this was literally $2.50 to put together. You could use this so many different ways and for so many different reasons. I wouldn't carry it by the handles. It's probably not the most sturdy thing ever, but this would be great to use as like a platter if you're having people over. Maybe you want to put your cheese and crackers on here or your chips and salsa on here, or store party favors or something along those lines. But you could also use this as just a decorative piece on your table. So as a centerpiece, I'm just showing a way that you could style it here to make it look modern and cute. I was just shopping my own home, so I didn't have anything too crazy to put on here, but you can get as creative as you want with this. And then I also thought this would be great in your bathroom if you have a large vanity, which we do not. If you stored this maybe in the center of a double vanity and you kept like a little decorative plant on it and your Q-tips and your hand soap, this would be a perfect way to display all of that and just dress it up a little bit. It also is good for the back of your toilet to hold your extra toilet paper or something like that. It's very versatile and it looks really modern and clean, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I have been seeing picket rails all over the place. I feel like they sell them everywhere and they're so expensive, like at least $50. So I wanted to try and recreate this using just some wooden dowels and a piece of wood that I picked up at Home Depot. So this is not really a Dollar Tree thing, but it's still extremely affordable. The wood that I bought was $5 for the wood that goes in the back, and the wooden dowels cost me $5 as well. So this whole project was $10, which is very affordable, especially in comparison to the $50 price tag that this item normally carries. I had my husband make all my cuts for me, but they will do it at Home Depot if you ask. I feel like sometimes they say no, that they won't do hobby cutting, but it kind of depends who you get. So always ask them if they're able to do it in store for you. I looked at the dimensions on the Container Store website to try and determine the different sizes I wanted all of these pieces of wood to be. I wrote them down for my husband, he cut them for me, and then I assembled them onto the piece of wood to just see how they look, kind of make the pattern that I wanted. This isn't going to look exactly like the one from the Container Store, but it's pretty darn close. So I'm just using some wood glue to secure these onto the back piece of wood. I am sure that there is a better and more secure way to do this, but honestly, this felt pretty strong. And for me to have the kind of angled pieces, I just wedged another one underneath it and let it dry like that. And that worked out perfectly fine for me. You could paint this any color that you want, or you could stain the wood. I had thought that maybe if you color blocked a little bit, like the top half of the wood, you colored it white, that would look really cool. I like that modern color blocking look, but I left mine natural and I think it looked so adorable. So this is the way that it turned out, and I'm just showing you guys an example of how you can use it. I'm hanging this on the back of my door and I'm hanging a towel from it. It looks so nice and modern, and the best part is that it was not $50. This vase actually came from Michael's. My Dollar Tree is terrible and they just didn't have any vases on the day that I went, but I wanted to try and recreate something that I saw. I think it was from Pottery Barn, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys so you can see. So this is what I'm going for this vase, and it looks like it's a little bit less than halfway down the vase is where the black starts. So that's kind of what I'm going for, and I'm just going to tape it off. Taping this was a little bit tricky because I'm quite a perfectionist and I wanted it to be perfect. I wanted it to line up exactly and be clean lines when I ripped it off after I finished painting it. So it took me a few tries. I had to redo it a couple of times, but I did eventually get it right. I wanted to make sure that the paint didn't drip down onto the clear part of the vase, so I'm using a plastic bag that I had just laying around, securing that to the vase before I start painting it, and then we're going to use that matte black spray paint. Now the one that was on Pottery Barn was more of a glossy paint, but I personally like the matte look, so that's what I decided to go for. But if you're trying to make an exact replica, then you would definitely want to use a glossier black spray paint. But once I ripped off all of the tape, it came out perfect. It looks honestly identical to the one that they sell at Pottery Barn. And instead of paying $160, I paid, I think in total, this was like $10 between the vase, which was on sale at Michael's, and the spray paint, which was also on sale at Michael's. The next thing that I wanted to try to recreate was this decorative bowl. So I picked up this garden dish from the Dollar Tree, and then this I think is like a candle holder or something like that from the Dollar Tree, and I felt like the base of this would be perfect for recreating that decorative bowl. So first I'm just of course ripping off all of the stickers and everything. We're going to get this completely cleaned off, make sure that it's all ready to go when it's time to paint. But I also wanted to hot glue the base onto it before I went ahead and spray painted it. You can obviously tell when you touch this or pick it up that it's not the same as like a high-end ceramic bowl. But as far as looks go, I was shocked at how nice this turned out. If you're just trying to get the look for less, this is a really, really easy way to do that. It cost me $2.50 for the two pieces to put them together. So this is a really easy way to just get that high-end look for a lot less money. And I was really happy with the way that this one turned out. You can see here when it's all dried, it literally looks identical to the high-end one. It really is crazy what you can do with just a little bit of spray paint. Now, the bowl was obviously marketed as a decorative bowl and it had kind of like decorative globes in it, but I wanted to use mine as a fruit bowl, so that's what we're going to do with it. I'm just going to put some apples and oranges on it and stick it at the center of my table, so we have some healthy options available to us. But there's so many different ways that you could use this. Again, you could use this for a serving bowl at a party that you're having, or you could use it for decor like the other bowl was intended to be used. If you want to add maybe your own little touch to this, there's so many different ways you could do that, but I decided to wrap some twine around the bottom and I felt like this looked really cute and dressed it up just a little bit more. You could of course use these Dollar Tree candy jars as a candy jar, but I thought these would be perfect in the bathroom or in your linen closet. So the first thing I did was screw off the little plastic handles that were on the lids. And then I'm removing all of the labels as well and just getting these cleaned off. I decided that I wanted to make these color block similar to the vase that we had made, so I'm taping them off. This was really tricky. This was much trickier than the vase was to get these perfect, but with some time and patience, you can definitely get it. It just, again, takes some time and patience. But once I had these all taped off, I took them outside. I also wrapped these up into a plastic bag that I had laying around because I didn't want the paint to spread all over it. But if you do happen to get paint anywhere else on these by accident, it very easily just will chip off with your fingernail. So it's an easy fix, but I wanted to try and avoid it if possible. I'm using that matte black spray paint again because that's just what I had on hand, but you can obviously use whatever color that you want and get as creative as you want with this. My lines were not perfect all over this when I took the tape off. For the most part, they were pretty good, but there were definitely some spots that had kind of smudged a little bit. But again, you can easily chip that off using your fingernail, so I was able to clean it up very easily. Now I'm going to use those wooden craft cubes from the Dollar Tree to add just a little bit of an extra touch to the lids of these. So where I removed that plastic handle earlier, I had my husband cut off like the excess that was left behind, and then I just hot glued on these wooden craft cubes. This is a totally optional step, but I felt like it dressed them up just a little bit more. Now, of course, you can add labels to these. I could have made some with my Cricut. I was just feeling a little bit lazy, honestly, but that would look cute as well. I'm filling mine with some bath bombs in one of them, and then the other one we're planning to use for Epsom salts. I just didn't happen to have any on this day when I was filming, but these are perfect for these items. These bath bombs were in like really bulky packaging before, so eliminating that packaging and putting them into these containers is so much better. It saves me space and it also makes them easier to access. These are actually my husband's bath bombs and I feel like he always forgets that he has them, but now they're more in his face when they're in our linen closet. And another plus side is that they just look nicer sitting on your linen closet, on your shelf, or even in your bathroom out on the counter than they do in their original packaging. Dollar Tree also sells these scoops. They come in a 2-pack for $1.25. You can't beat it. And there's a bigger one and a smaller one. And these would be perfect to use alongside those jars. So when we have our Epsom salts in there, we can just scoop them out using these scoops. I think they're really cute and just a nice touch. Those are all the Dollar Tree hacks and ideas that I have for you guys this week. Be sure to leave me a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite, or if you're going to try any of these out, or if you have any other ideas that maybe I haven't shared before that I could share in a future video. I would love that. And once again, if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and turn your notification bells on so you don't miss any of my future uploads. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll come back again next week for another video.